It's that time of year. The air crisp, the trees bare. And just as the winds of change beckon in a new season, same is true in collegiate sports.
The exchange.
What happened? The tables just completely turned.
The gridiron makes way for the hard court as the world awaits that which is the most dramatic of all.
This game is the most unexpected game I have seen in my life.
Rivalries, Davids, Goliaths, and upsets.
He just completely blundered and resigned. Man, Alexander, I was about to give you the biggest hype-up speech.
This is the time of year for brackets, soon to be the time of year we've all come to know as March Madness. And on the 64-square chessboard, some things are different, but some are the same.
Oh my goodness, how is there not double exclam on this move?
The CCL is back as college's best compete for their moment in the sun.
Just immediately blunder and resign.
We did it again,
Oh
Joe.
my
We
goodness.
jinxed it again.
Will the Billikens of St. Louis University three-peat and cement themselves as a dynasty in collegiate chess?
Huge congratulations to SLU winning the championship.
Or will six-time national champions Webster University bring their championship pedigree to the CCL? There are President's Cup winners, favorites, underdogs, and sure to be plenty of drama. This is the 2024 Collegiate Chess League spring season, and it starts now.
Welcome to the 2024 Collegiate Chess League spring season presented by SIG. I am Anna Cramling and I'm going to be your host today together with the amazing Joe Lee. Joe, how are you doing? Are you excited for week 3?
I'm so excited, Anna. We had a bye week last week. I missed you. I missed the CCL. I'm so excited to be back. I can't wait to get into the action.
Me too. No, last week I didn't know what to do on a Saturday without the Collegiate Chess League. It felt weird because, we've been going for several weeks, but we are back now. And today we have 2 very exciting matches that we're going to be following. We're going to be starting with St. Louis University, one of the top favorites of the season, who are facing the Technical University of Athens, one of the international teams. And I think that this is going to be a very exciting match because even though St. Louis is a favorite, Athens has been playing very well in the past.
Yeah, we actually watched St. Louis University 2 weeks ago before the bye week take down Prague, the other international team, 15-1. So Athens maybe has a chance to avenge their international brethren over in Prague. So hopefully Athens puts up a bit more resistance this week.
No, I definitely think they will. And we can see that Athens played really well the previous matches. So I think that this is going to be a pretty close match. We can see here the current standings. We have St. Louis University at the top, followed by Webster University and followed by the University of Missouri, which is very exciting as we are going to be seeing today Webster face Missouri as well. 2 top-tier teams this season. So that's going to be a huge match that we're going to be following after St. Louis versus Athens.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. We're watching all 3 of the top teams, the only schools that are undefeated so far. So Webster versus Missouri is going to be very hype after this first match because one of them is going to be undefeated still. The other is going to get their first loss of the season.
Yeah, and obviously that's not a nice thing at all, but it's going to be very exciting. Now, even though the CCL may have taken a break last week, we have a lot of CCL player participation in this past week's Chessable Masters, and many had some great showings. I mean, we can see, for instance, that Benjamin Bok defeated Hans Niemann, Oparin drew Hikaru Nakamura, which is huge, and Kevlishvili defeated Cramling. So these players, you may think that they are college players. No, these players are world-class chess players that are at the very top of the field. And I think that's one of the most exciting things about the Collegiate Chess League.
Yeah, I mean, CCT, CCL, they both have the world-class players playing in them. Interestingly, as you mentioned, Kevlishvili beat Cramling. So unfortunately, we're not going to watch Kevlishvili play today. Him and Glidora were the only 2 there highlighted that aren't going to be playing today. But I actually heard a rumor that Kevlishvili is taking a break this week because of Mardi Gras. So, yeah.
Because of what?
Mardi Gras, it's a celebration. It's like a holiday.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I guess it's an American thing. It's widely celebrated down in Louisiana, actually.
I have never heard about this. But here we can see the lineups. We can see all the players that St. Louis is going to be having and Athens. And one thing that stands out to me, Joe, is the fact that yes, we're saying that St. Louis is the favorite team here, but board number 4, because Kevlishvili is not playing, Athens is actually the favorite there. We have FM Vasilius Kasidoumis as their board 4, who has a rating of 2572 in comparison to SLU's board 4, Nicolas John Layden, who has a rating of 2458. So I think that that could definitely be a place where Athens could get an upper hand, and I think that the number 4 board is one of the most important boards because you don't want your weakest player to, not perform well. Like, that's a really important board, I think.
I couldn't agree more. That's definitely a huge opportunity, and I think Athens is going to look to strike there. They definitely have a very well-balanced team. All 4 players titled. Their board 4 has a chance to put up some points and see if they can outscore SLU's board 4. But obviously, Nicolas, not a pushover player. Still a very strong player in their own right. Looking to get some upset wins there for SLU. So, as you said, it's going to be a close match. I can't wait to see it. SLU, they're the back-to-back defending champs. They're the favorites, but we'll see how Athens does. And maybe they can, get some international fans riled up here. I'm sure there's a lot of international viewers tuning in right now.
I guess I am international too, being from Sweden myself. So yes, there's definitely a lot of international people. Now, before we get started, let's refamiliarize everyone on the match format. We have 4 versus 4 team chess. All boards play each other, and the time control is 5+2, so the games are pretty fast. The first team to get 8.5 points wins the match. You get 1 point per win, 0.5 points per draw, and if the score is tied, then we take it to tie breaks, which we saw last week, which was super exciting, Joe. I mean, we saw tie breaks. I thought that we might be able to see a bunch of tiebreakers, but yeah, at least they got to tiebreakers, which was really exciting.
Yeah, that was actually the board 4 for Webster coming in clutch, your fellow Anna. So that maybe we'll see Anna again today. Actually, I should know. But yeah, Webster took UTRGV to overtime, or maybe rather I should say the other way around. But yeah, this week we might see another overtime. Webster now versus Mizzou.
Yeah, that's going to be very exciting, like we said before. But I have to say, I mean, Athens, they did some fantastic matches in the past. I think in one of the rounds, they even tied Webster, finished 2-2. And a lot of the games, or a lot of the rounds that they lost against Webster, it was 2.5 versus 1.5. So I really don't think that we should in any way undervalue Athens as a team. I think that they are a fantastic team. So I really think that anything can happen in this first match. And, people watching this right now, you can give us your predictions. Who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be Athens? Is it going to be SLU? Who do you think is going to be the winner of this match?
Well, I think I agree so far with what the chat's saying. It's a huge favorite, SLU over Athens. Over 100,000 points to Athens, only 24,000. So I do know, however, Athens actually has an Instagram account, and they're trying to hype up their chess club and their fans. So if you're from Athens or you're cheering for Athens, definitely let us know in chat. I see a couple more people putting points on the line for them.
Okay, well, of course, SLU is the clear favorites. But, Joe, I am a person that typically roots for the underdogs. So I do think that an underdog story is always very fun. But obviously, SLU is a very strong team with very routine players. And, I mean, they've been participating in this for several seasons and won it. So obviously, they know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and as I saw Athens getting more points, I think more points even now for SLU are rolling in. So last week we saw SLU win 15-1, but that was Prague's B team, basically. All 4 of their top players were playing in the Czechia League. Athens, they're a bit more committed this week, it seems. So like you said, they're going to put up more of a fight. But what do you think the score is actually going to be? Obviously, it's not going to be as 15-1 lopsided as SLU's last match. But how close do you really think it's going to be?
I think it could be something like 9-6 9-7. Or, yeah, I would say something like that. Something like 9-7. Am I doing the math correctly now?
Yeah. It has to add up to 16. I mean, it could go to overtime, but I agree it's going to be close because, as you mentioned, SLU does have their fourth board out. So they have a sub playing. But I think it's going to be maybe something closer to 10-6. SLU favorite.
Okay, we'll see who's right. We can also see here in the standings that the University of Chicago is right now, unfortunately, last with 0 points. What do you think, Joe, is required for Chicago to make a comeback and to get some points this season?
Well, pointing out Chicago, they're led by their captain, Awonder Liang, who we've watched a lot of exciting matches last season, and he's back this season. But as you can see, they're at 0 points, not only for their score, but for their game points as well. They actually haven't competed yet in their first 2 weeks, but they're back. Starting this week, we were actually going to watch their match for the first time, but I think they were having some issues getting that sorted. But rest assured, they are competing. They are planning on playing UTRGV, which should be starting any minute. Same as our match now, actually. So we're watching SLU versus Athens instead, and the games should be starting any moment.
They are going to start very, very soon. I think that the first round is always one of the rounds where we can see the most decisive games because we have board number 1 playing board number 4, where obviously there's a really big rating difference. So it's typically in the first round that we see a lot of decisive scores, which I think is really fun. I like decisive games, Joe. I don't like long draws. I want there to be action. I want this to go fast. And I think that's what we're going to be seeing.
Yeah, and wow, you just got a huge rate from Hikaru. So welcome all the Hikaru fans. We're watching the Collegiate Chess League, which is going to be SLU versus Athens starting now, but Webster versus Mizzou later. So you guys are just in time to make predictions in the chat.
You are arriving at the very right time. Thank you so much, Hikaru, for the raid. It's going to be very exciting. We're going to be watching some top chess players, like literally super strong chess players competing against each other in blitz games, which is going to be really, really fun. And you guys are coming right when it's about to start. It's going to start in any second. You're going to be able to follow all the games, and it's going to be really, really fun. So put in your predictions. Who do you think is going to win? Will it be St. Louis University? Will it be the Technical University of Athens? Only time will tell, Joe. Only time will tell.
Yeah, we're about to find out right now. So buckle up, you guys. I think that this first round, like you said, is going to be very exciting. I'm actually interested to see if SLU's board 4 can maybe prove all of us wrong and get a huge upset win against a grandmaster here in round 1.
I think he performed pretty well in the past, right? I have a memory of Vasilius having some really exciting games and playing really well. So, you know, at this level, I think that in a blitz game, anything can happen. Like a 5-minute game, these players are so strong. I really think that even though FM Vasilius is obviously just a FIDE master and he's playing as a grandmaster, I definitely think that there's chances for him to win.
Yeah, I see Benjamin Bok is tuning into the Twitch chat. Ben, don't you have a big match you should be focusing on? Or are you streaming as well?
There's a lot of ways to get ready for an important match, Joe. There's a lot of ways to get mentally prepared. And one of them might be to tune into the stream before. And I admire that, Benjamin. I think that is a great thing to do. So we are wishing you good luck, obviously, together with everyone else.
Yeah, and definitely give Ben a follow. He definitely streams a lot of these matches, and he was streaming for CCT as well, which is really cool to get that glimpse. And he actually had a funny comment. SLU's team took one of the top players from Greece. So their top board, Nicolas Theodorou, is Greek, and he's playing against maybe some of his friends over in Athens. It's going to be interesting to see that Greek versus Greek. Maybe the Athens team can beat them up and prove them wrong for transferring or moving.
I didn't realize that. I did think that the name sounded very Greek, but I thought, no, there's no way. There's no way. But yeah, that is very true. Oh, I wonder if there's any, kind of harsh feelings about this in some way.
I'm sure they're friends. They definitely probably know each other, maybe playing growing up as kids. I can only assume. But yeah, maybe if he didn't go to SLU on scholarship, he could have been one of the Athens teammates, and they'd be even stronger in the CCL, which would have been cool to see.
No, for sure, for sure. But I do think that they've set up a really great team, and it is really fun that they're playing this year. And I do really like that we have international teams. I mean, I think it's fun to see universities from different continents, and hopefully we can get even more teams in the future.
Yeah, and something that people might not know about is that we're only covering Division 1 on broadcast, but the Collegiate Chess League actually has 24 divisions, and it's over 180 schools. We have 20 countries actually represented in the Collegiate Chess League. So if you're an international student, definitely be sure to register in the next fall season. And what's actually really cool about the 2 international teams joining Division 1 is because they actually saw it on broadcast. So imagine you're a college chess student, you're tuning into twitch.tv/chess, and you see on Chess.com, like, wow, this SLU team's really good. Now, these players are actually playing against SLU, the defending champions from last season. So if you are a college student, maybe you could join the Collegiate Chess League and now be on broadcast, which I think this is a huge opportunity for these Athens players.
Definitely is. So definitely think about that. We are going to be seeing the games in just a few moments, but we are going to be having to prepare the games a little bit. So we're going to be going on a very short break, but do not go anywhere because the games are starting very soon and you do not want to miss this match. We'll see you very soon.
I'm here with Magnus Carlsen, world #1, and to many, greatest chess player of all time. We're gonna ask him a few questions. I'm gonna name a sport. You have to tell me the greatest of all time. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Basketball.
LeBron James.
Soccer.
Messi.
I agree with both. Baseball.
Barry Bonds.
What did he say? Okay. Football, like American football.
Tom Brady, I guess.
Okay, yeah, good one. Tennis.
Djokovic.
Golf.
Tiger.
Fair. Poker.
Doug Brunson.
That's a unique one. Chess.
Garry Kasparov.
Are you allowed to say yourself?
I don't know if I'm allowed, but I think Gary is the best of all time still.
Chess boxing.
Aman Hamilton.
I agree. We're gonna play this or that. Would you rather go on a cruise or a road trip?
Road trip.
Comedy or thriller?
Comedy.
Coffee or tea?
Tea, but only slightly. Preferably neither.
How do you get energized?
The sun.
Cats or dogs?
Cats. But I like dogs too.
It's like this or that is a little bit tough with you. You like everything. Shower or bath?
Oh, shower for sure.
Okay.
I don't have the patience to take baths.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl for sure.
Would you rather get on a phone call or text message?
Texts, probably.
I feel like the answer for you is neither. I feel like it's just...
Usually, yes.
just go. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
How many beers would it take for you to drink for me to beat you in a classical chess game?
That's a very difficult question, because I'd probably sober up during the game, so I'd probably have to keep drinking. Probably start with 20 and take it from there.
20, okay. What's the size of the cup?
Pints.
Wow, okay, 20. Name your price if you have to chess box.
$10 million.
Do you prefer to play chess on a computer, over the board, or on your phone?
I rarely play on my phone. I would say I prefer to play on the computer.
In your entire career, have you ever had a day where you went, I think this guy might be as good as me in chess?
No. Well, I mean, not you know, since, not the last 10 years, for sure.
Okay, has it ever been, this guy might be kind of close to me if I have a bad day?
Yeah, I would say Fabio at his best was very close in classical, for sure.
My other question was going to be, who do you think is the second best chess player in the world? So, I suppose.
Yeah, I think Fabiano Caruana is the second best player. Yeah.
Thank you, Magnus, for sitting down with us and doing these rapid fire questions. Now get out of here.
I'd classify trading as a game, really, that you're playing with competitors and basically every market participant in the world. My path, I came in as a poker player, but I think that the main thing that everybody has in common is a sense of competitiveness and interest in gaming and strategy in general. Yes, you can actually use gaming skills for your career and for something to do on a day-to-day basis.
We are back with the Collegiate Chess League presented by SIG, and actually, the games have been ongoing. Round number 1 has been happening whilst we were gone, but we are now tuning in at the very final moment, so we will be able to catch the results, and we are right now watching the game that we were talking about, Joe, the one that we were very excited about, between the two Greeks, Grandmaster Nicolas Theodorou and FIDE Master Vasilios Kasiumis. I'm very sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong. This is the current position. It looks like Black is completely winning. Joe, what is happening?
Yeah, we missed the start, but we're definitely going to see the end here. Looks like Theodorou is up in exchange, and he's going to be able to convert. He's got the bishop pair. I mean, he's up on time. We see one knight trade-off. But look at that pass D pawn and that rook on the second rank. Theodorou's got this in the bag.
Yeah, there's no way that he doesn't win this, especially because of that D pawn. It's a pass pawn. It's so difficult to stop a pass pawn when you don't even have a rook, which is one of the most important defensive pieces in endgames. So I really think that this is just going to be over. So I thought that we could maybe check out some of the other boards. We have Benjamin Bok playing on board number 2. That could be exciting to see, and we can see here that the game finished already. So Benjamin Bok, he is facing FIDE Master Petrus Ramai. Oh, why did I start this, Joe?
Ramanidis.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
and
but oh my gosh, it's an absolute time scramble, and Bok, he's trying to hold on. Okay, he's up, but okay, bishop versus knight. Pawn structure is a little weak for Petros. He's looking for a queen trade. Do you accept it? He does. Yeah,
there's a queen trade. I am wondering now why Black isn't. It feels very difficult to defend that H pawn. So I'm wondering right now if you're just winning that H pawn, which it seems like you are, and that can look pretty scary because Black is going to get 2 passed pawns that, I mean, if you don't stop them, are obviously just going to become queen. So there is this knight to stop it, but I do think that Benjamin Bok has the more practical chances here. Like, I would be slightly scared as White. We can see here that White is trying to push that B pawn, but I don't really think it's... Yeah, this is such a race. This is literally just a race. That B pawn is going to be pushed. I was going to say that I don't know if there's anything that Benjamin can really do about that pawn being pushed, but I suppose that just his pawns.
That was a free knight.
Blunder the knight.
Oh my goodness, he couldn't play with the time scramble. Bok gets the win.
No. Wow.
Yeah, that was a time scramble blunder. That was an even position. But let's check in on Athens board 4, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that must hurt. That must hurt. Going from a pretty equal endgame where you feel like you have all the chances in the world to draw the super strong player and then you lose.
Yeah, my apology. This is actually Athens board 4, and he's actually hanging in there with Nicholas. Or sorry, this is SLU's board 4, playing against Athens top board, and it's an even position.
This would be huge, obviously, for SLU to draw. So this does look like, well,
There it is.
theoretical drawing game, and there it is. And we have now all the results. We can also see in game number 3 that St. Louis won. Grandmaster Batsurin Dambasurin won that game. So I was wondering, Joe, if we should maybe take a look to the beginning of one of these games just to kind of get a feeling of what we missed whilst we were gone.
Well, we can take a look at maybe the Theodoru match. Top board for SLU. My apologies. I just messed that up. Okay, here we go.
Amazing.
Well, we see Theodoru left his chair. He's taking a quick break, but this was an E4 game. Let's see. Yeah, Theodoru with the black pieces. He just fianchettos both bishops. Do you know this opening, Anna?
Not really, but I feel like the plans here are very logical. Just really getting a lot of central space and then just trying to reroute the knights to find some better squares for them. And it feels like you get this fantastic knight on d5. So I feel like the opening looks very good for Vasilius. I'm wondering where it all went wrong.
Yeah, he puts his knight on d4, Theodoru, and he gets this really strong pawn on d4. It looks awkward, but yeah, his bishop just opens up, and I think that's the pawn that, or no, was it the other d pawn?
No, it was that d pawn. Oh, and then it was that just the rook?
Yeah, white maybe gives it up here.
Yeah, to try to go for that fork, but it was just that pawn that I think he just felt insane pressure by that pawn. Wow, and we had a brilliant there too.
Yeah, bishop takes e4 from Theodoru. This was
wow.
missed. And yeah, great conversion there.
Wow, that is a beautiful move. Very tactical, but then being able to simplify it into this just winning endgame, being an exchange up.
Yeah.
And there we have the d pawn again.
That shows why these players from St. Louis are the top, and they only had 1 point missed, the draw from SLU's board 4, actually, which is super impressive to draw Grandmaster top board from Athens. So this does not look good for Athens. It's a rough start, but still 3 rounds remaining, and Athens definitely has a chance to get back in it.
They do, and we need to remember this. This is round number 1. There are 3 more rounds to go, so there's definitely chances for Athens to make a comeback here. So we are going to be seeing round number 2 happening very soon. This time we're going to see it all the way from the start. We're not going to miss a second of the games, and it's going to be very exciting to see the games from the start. So we can see now that the players have switched, and now there's going to be new opponents for everybody. And yeah, we can definitely, Joe, like you're saying, we can see that SLU is just very routine. They're playing very well, very strong team. But I'm very impressed, actually. I'm very impressed that they were able to just dominate in this way in round number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not that surprised. The top 3 boards from SLU getting the job done. Maybe the biggest surprise is SLU's board 4 getting a draw against Athens top board. That definitely does not bode well for the Athens team. Definitely needed that point, I think, board 1 versus board 4. But if you're SLU, you're definitely very happy with that. Even without Kevlishvili, they're doing well with their sub.
Yeah, no, they are. The fact that the sub was able to draw a Grandmaster, like you're saying, is amazing. Do you think that, is there any game now that's standing out to you, any pairing that's standing out to you now for round number 2?
Well, obviously, any board for SLU, I think, is going to be interesting to watch. You have the streamer, Benjamin Bok, and obviously Theodoru, like the fellow countryman, versus all of his his other countrymen over in Athens. It's always very exciting to watch. But a game that we haven't watched yet from that first round was Dambasur and Batsurin that you mentioned.
Who won as well. We didn't get to see that game, but we're going to be following his play now. But Joe, I feel like you are very much Team St. Louis.
Of course. I mean, I'm a St. Louis native. I'm a fan of not only the players, but just the team, the city, the school. My dad actually went to SLU, so that's why I'm from St. Louis.
You are a little bit biased then. We must admit that.
Yeah, but you also have some international bias.
I do. I do.
It's okay. It's okay to have bias. I'm just lucky that my bias is with the better team.
Joe, we do not know yet if it's going to be. I will not accept these words until the match is over. First, when we see someone getting 8.5 points, that's when I will accept that sentence, Joe.
Well, I mean, listen, better team, you're saying we don't know that, but obviously round one results speak for themselves and the standings speak for themselves. So I do think they are objectively the better team.
All right, you might be right. You might be right. But we can see here the lineups, and we can see who's going to be playing who. We have now Nicolas Theodorou, he's playing FM Petros Romanidis, so board number 3 for Athens. We will see if one of these Athens players can try to clutch a draw or, even a win, which is obviously very difficult, but at least clutch a draw against the Grandmaster. Obviously very difficult for FMs to draw a Grandmaster, obviously. But still, we're going to see what happens over there. Then we have Benjamin Bok, who's playing the board 4 for Athens, so that should be a relatively easy game for Benjamin. But then I think that the very exciting games are going to be Batsurin and Dambasurin playing board 1 for Athens, the Grandmaster, and then also the board 4 playing board 2 for Athens. Does he not have a title, Joe, Nicholas John Ladden?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he does or not. It's not showing here. So
No.
maybe he's a national master, not FIDE master, but I mean, his rating's still very high, definitely higher than mine. Not that that's too impressive.
Of course. I mean, higher than mine too, and higher than most people that are watching here. If you have a higher rating, you're very welcome to tell us in the chat, because that's going to be very impressive. Most of us do not have a rating higher than 2400, so do let us know if you are one of those people that have that. But yeah, it's going to be very exciting to watch this. The games have started, so we can now go ahead and check out some of them.
Yeah, I see Theodorou here. He's playing now with the white pieces up against Petros Romanidis, and they're both with about 3 minutes. I like white pointing at this backwards D pawn. How do you feel about the position?
I really like white too. I feel like that is such a nice long-term advantage to be playing against that D pawn. It's just this kind of thing that may look like a small advantage, but it's definitely just going to make white be so much more comfortable. And not only is that an isolated pawn that's not defended by any other pawn, it's also actually, because there's no pawn next to it, it means that if white can get a knight up to d5, there's not going to be any piece that's really going to be kicking it away. So right now, I think white's idea is to go knight f1, knight e3, and then either knight d5 or knight f5 might be even better. We have such great squares for that knight, and a lot of times, I mean, maybe we'll even see white going c4 to really stop black from ever pushing that pawn and really just kind of bully that pawn in some way. And then, yeah, maybe black has to play b5. So we will see a little bit, but I do think that maybe white wants to do that to not get into any weakness with that c2 pawn either. So there's definitely a lot of different ideas here. I'm wondering if black is considering capturing that f1 knight because it can become so strong, or if black is saying, if I do that, then the light squares are just going to be so weak.
For sure. That's definitely a thought that crossed my mind. And I really love Theodorou's got the double fianchetto. He's castled. This is really an instructive game, especially for beginners that maybe they're familiar with the opening. They're used to how to get out of the opening and develop. But the middle game, they're no less sure about. So we saw Theodorou. He brings his knight back. And all of those great, wonderful ideas that you pointed out, Petros saw that as well and said, you know what, I'm just going to snip that problem at the source, take that that knight. And what's a drawback from this is now white has the bishop pair against black's 2 knights. So this is going to be a really fun game for Theodoro. And that decision by Petros was not an easy one to make. It cost him 2 minutes on the clock. So we see a lot of the strategic planning for Theodoro is going to result in a positional advantage, a time advantage, and we see now Petros has to play a little game of catch up. But he is putting a lot of pressure on this e-pawn, and white is only defending it twice. So we're going to see maybe a rook come over to defend it, or maybe Theodoro is going to go for a more active approach here on how to play.
And in a dream scenario, I mean, he wants to play d5. It is not possible to do that right now, but in a dream scenario, that is what he wants to do. So let's go ahead and see. Now, rook d1 was played, and the immediate thought is, what happens if you capture that pawn as black? Can you go knight takes e4? I don't think it looks good because you're putting your knight in the same diagonal as your queen. Knight is going to be pinned. So we see b5 being played as that, and I wonder if the idea of that is to go b4 and try to create some advantage himself with kind of forcing that c2 pawn to stay there and making that a backwards pawn as well, and kind of saying, hey, I have these problems, I'm going to create the same problems for you.
Yeah, you mentioned b5 way earlier as well, because as you mentioned, c4 is a good idea too. So this helps prevent that, and if it gets to b4, it prevents both pawns from pushing because of a little thing called en passant. But yeah, I like you pointed out this is a pen, so definitely a dangerous pawn to take. White almost daring black to take by not playing rook e1, but after the move b5, we see rook f to e1. And yeah, I mean, Petros playing this pretty well so far, starting with a5 and looking to make some progress on the queen side. But maybe we can take a look at some of the other games that are going on.
Let's go ahead and do that. Let's maybe take a look at should we check out game number 2?
Yeah, that's Bok's game.
Bok's game versus Vasilius Kasiumi's board 4 for Athens.
All right, and looks like we see queenside castles from Bok and kingside from Vasilios. So opposite side castles, always very fun and exciting. Definitely very attacking games. I like to think that white's king is a little more like loose, especially opposite the queen. And looks like white may be neglecting some development here, but Bok looking for a queen trade. Computer was definitely calling for something else. Can we take a look back at maybe what the move was that was missed?
I was thinking maybe bishop f4, if that could be it, but I am not sure. To try to maybe go bishop d6, but I have no idea if that could be it.
Yeah, bishop f4, definitely one of the moves. It likes queen f4, so it's still looking for a queen trade. But I guess taking this diagonal is important somehow. But okay, bishop d2 hits the queen. Black did not want to trade queens, and if you did trade queens, pawn would take, opening up the h file for Bok's rook. So queen's gonna have to find a new home. And yeah, this bishop here, not able to develop easily. It's being blocked by 2 of its own pieces. So even though it looks like white may be behind development, black has some issues of their own, and this bishop's going to be able to come out much easier, and we're going to see some pressure put onto this king very soon. So
oh yeah, all white's pieces are going to be in front of the king. Bishop d3, knight f3, the knight is going to come up. We're all of a sudden going to, I mean, maybe even bishop c3, you know, and all of a sudden we're going to see 5 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5 pieces looking towards the king very quickly. So the potential is enormous for white, and I think that's why the eval bar is strongly favoring Bok's position here.
yeah, bishop to d3, supernatural development move. Looking at maybe c2 to hit the queen again. Maybe we're just going to leave this queen here, kind of sidelined here all by herself. So yeah, just a couple easy development moves from Bok, and black's going to have to figure out development on their own. So that's an interesting game. We did also mention another game by Batsurin that we wanted to point out. This is
Yes.
Athens top board. So let's take a quick look over at that one.
Let's see how this is going. Wow, there's a pawn on d6 that is very advanced. Can you defend it? Can you keep it?
Yeah, that's a good question. We see Batsurin just moves his bishop, trying to counteract this threat that white had on the f7 pawn. So not only defending f7 threat, trying to neutralize this awesome bishop from Andreas, but also opening up the queen to attack d6, like you mentioned. So how do we defend this pawn? I'm not entirely seeing it right now. Maybe you take, and then maybe the knight comes back to c4.
That could definitely be a very good idea. I'm wondering bishop takes bishop. If rook takes bishop though, and you go knight c4, there might be rook takes rook and then knight c2, and then that would be a fork. So I'm wondering if there was time for that, but instead bishop e3 is played, threatening the bishop and now giving up the d6 pawn, the number one advantage I feel like that white had. So the idea will be to go knight c4, I suppose, but just without that d pawn.
Yeah, white definitely had an advantage there, but maybe a little bit of time pressure. And there are some complications. Not so easy to hold on to that pawn. So he elects to just simply develop the bishop, put pressure on this really nice central knight of Batsurin's. But it does cost him that pawn. So we see the trade now. Black actually has a lot of ways to trade. One of them not being knight takes e6. That knight is pinned. So there is rook takes, pawn takes. Probably you don't want to take with the pawn.
No.
Queen takes would drop the piece, perhaps. Still, it's not so clear because you could get in a pin of your own. So yeah, definitely a complicated position and not a lot of time for these players to figure it out.
There is not a lot of time, but it would be obviously huge for St. Louis if if Batsurin got a win here, for instance, because this is Athens' #1 player. So we will see what happens over there. Let's maybe check out the final game as well. I'm very intrigued to see what's happening in game number 4. We haven't seen how SLU's board 4 is doing. So he is the person that today jumped in when Kevishvili couldn't participate today. So what is happening here? What was the last move? Rook f6, and it does look like white has a little bit of an attack on the king. I mean, we have this h pawn that has been very pushed. I feel like h6 could maybe sometimes be an idea with a rook on h1. I feel like that's why king g2 has been played. So definitely feels like white's pieces are slightly more active. I mean, that bishop on an a7 is not really doing much. And there's bishop g5 pinning the rook. Is this just what is happening? Do you have rook
It's
takes f2
complicated.
somehow?
Yeah, rook f2 is a discovery. It still wins the exchange for white. Queen takes
Yeah.
bishop. But this king is now very loose and exposed. So going to be very interesting to see how this goes. But there's an absolute time scramble happening on board 1 with Theodora's game. So I want to jump back and look and see what's going on over there.
Oh, and right the moment you said that game finished. Wow. That is, I just saw the eval bar go up by 1,000,000, and that's hence my little scream. What happened there? How did this happen?
Okay, so looks like Theodoro definitely got the rook in, but black was active with their rook as well.
Yeah.
Check and check, knight takes. So Theodoro was winning. He blunders his bishop, and now the b pawn is passed. So black picks up a lot of pawns, but he blunders with rook to g4, allowing Theodoro to push his pawn. And he traps the rook, trades it off, and this is just a win for white.
Wow. Okay, we can see another result. We'll be checking out that game a little bit. I want to see that game too, how it ended. Benjamin Bok did win on board number 2 against Vasilius Kasiumis. So let's check out one of the games that are happening. There's 2 games that are happening right now that are in time scramble. Joe, pick the one you think is looking the most interesting.
We're going to Batsurin's game. We're going to stick to this one. Both players less than 30 seconds on the clock.
There's so little time. 10 seconds. Time is ticking. This is Athens' #1 player playing with the white pieces right now. Bishop d2, threatening the queen. Could there be a rook trade?
Yeah, rook trade first. Bishop takes, making sure this knight's defended. Queen to b3, trade of queens. The rook is hit, goes to the d file. Less than 20 seconds now for both players. Both knights sidelined here for Andreas.
Yeah,
Knight
they do
back
not
to
look
the
safe
center.
there.
This pawn maybe is weak if bishop comes here. King didn't want to deal with any checks. Knight here takes away the c3 square. So the knight looking for a trade. We want the bishop on the main diagonal.
Yep. We want the bishop active. I feel like that knight needs to come to c4 at some point. There we go, right there.
Yeah, look at these knights all lined up here. Crisscross. Okay, knight comes back, defending the c-pawn. Now we get the bishop on the diagonal. There's a check. That could be very annoying. So the bishop covers that. Pawns are pushing. This is very intense.
This is the game of the knights. The knights are the only pieces that are moving right now, I feel like. They're both kind of trying to find the way. King g2 with the idea of knight f3, perhaps. Now activating the rook on the e file, the one open file. And I mean, I'm starting to like this more and more for white somehow. I feel like that king on f7 is not fully safe with ideas of knight d6 check. Knight is going back and forth, just kind of waiting, trying to gain time. That's what you want to do when you have so little time. They both have less than, around 10. Oh!
There's a blunder. the knight's just hanging. The knight is trapped. The knight's trapped. Oh,
the knight
my
is trapped.
goodness.
This will be a win for Athens.
Wow. Andreas with a sneaky move. Maybe we get a slow motion replay of that, but the game's not over yet. Batsurin's still fighting. He's got a rook to his name.
That is incredible. That's also one of those moments you think that it's just a draw. You're kind of going back and forth, kind of saying, hey, when are we going to draw? And then just one mistake just completely changes the outcome of the game.
Yeah, but there could be a stalemate or a dirty flag. I'm not sure. No, it's resigned.
I mean,
okay.
There we go. There we go.
The slow motion replay of what just happened in this one?
Yeah, so let's do it.
Dropped? Okay, so I think knight f3 that you called was the tricky move. And notice the knights are connected. This is such a trap. Knight f3, if you take, the immediate recapture is a fair trade. But Andreas tricks Batsurin with the intermezzo. Rook takes on e6, saying your knight's trapped. After this this was the mistake from Batsurin. Capturing on c3 first allows white to take back and take over the escape square for this knight. So that's how you win a piece against a grandmaster.
Yeah, that is actually just wow. I was shocked when this happened. I was shocked. And I think also Batsurin was kind of shocked when it happened. But let's check out the final game that we have. It's going, the eval bar is like an elevator going up and down. Game number 4. What is happening here?
So it's 2 minor pieces versus a rook. The 2 minors are typically better, but white has 2 pass pawns. And the bishop's holding back the a pawn, the knight guarding the g pawn. We see that trade. So black's pass pawn definitely taken. Oh, but there goes a knight, but this should still be a draw. Bishop and pawn. Yeah, we're gonna see the
immediate draw now soon. With the king over there. There's not really much I think that you can do. If the pawn wasn't there, then it would be different. Then obviously white could try to push for a win somehow. Have you ever had that, Joe? Have you ever had the rook versus bishop endgame?
Rook versus bishop is so hard. I feel like I've seen even the top players mess this up, but I think white might just give up. No, they're gonna try to fight. They're gonna try to time scramble their opponent and see. I mean, what's funny is if white blunders their rook, then they could lose. So
for sure,
players, they're definitely testing out the waters here. But I mean, come on, Nicolas Checa, board 4 sub for SLU. He's starting off with the 2 toughest rounds, getting draws in both of them. Very impressive.
He's doing fantastic. He's doing fantastic against these strong players. And I mean, obviously, they don't want to draw a lower rated player, but this is chess. And I mean, he's playing fantastically, Nicolas. So there's no way of progressing here. I mean, at some point, we're going to see. Yeah, there we go. There we have the draw. And we see that Athens was able to come back a little bit with that win, that very important win with some draws. This is not the same thing as we had in the first game, or in the first round, I mean. Very different story. And I think that this can continue, Joe, in the following 2 rounds.
Yeah, Andreas, top board from Athens, definitely maybe getting a wake-up call from that first round, drawing against the board 4. So he answers back with a huge win against Batsurin from SLU. But yeah, 2 points for Athens. They're definitely still needing to catch up in the second half. So we'll see how they answer in rounds 3 and 4.
We will. 6-2, 2 more rounds to go. Let's see if Athens is able to make a comeback, which there's definitely time for. But that is going to mean that Athens is going to have to play some really strong matches because we've seen just how strong SLU is.
Yeah, SLU, I mean, they're definitely the favorite for a reason, and they're looking to get some more points, looking to add on to their lead in the standings. So yeah, not only winning this match, but winning by a lot. So yeah, good luck to Athens moving forward.
Compete in February's opening roulette arena. This month's theme is the Najdorf. So join the arena every Monday to get better at this opening and win prizes like Chessable credits, Diamond membership, and even lessons with a Chessable author. Use !roulette in chat to learn more. We'll see you in the arena, and we will be right back.
I'm here with Magnus Carlsen, world #1, and to many, greatest chess player of all time. We're gonna ask him a few questions. I'm gonna name a sport. You have to tell me the greatest of all time. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Basketball.
LeBron James.
Soccer.
Messi.
I agree with both. Baseball.
Barry Bonds.
What did he say? Okay. Football like American football.
Tom Brady, I guess.
Okay, yeah, good one. Tennis.
Djokovic.
Golf.
Tiger.
Fair. Poker.
Doug Brunson.
That's a unique one. Chess.
Garry Kasparov.
Are you allowed to say yourself?
I don't know if I'm allowed, but I think Gary is the best of all time still.
Chess boxing.
Aman Hamilton.
I agree. We're gonna play this or that. Would you rather go on a cruise or a road trip?
Road trip.
Comedy or thriller?
Comedy.
Coffee or tea?
Tea, but only slightly. Preferably neither.
How do you get energized?
The sun.
Cats or dogs?
Cats. But I like dogs too.
It's like this or that is a little bit tough with you. You like everything. Shower or bath?
Oh, shower for sure.
Okay.
I don't have the patience to take baths.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl for sure.
Would you rather get on a phone call or text message?
Texts, probably.
I feel like the answer for you is neither. I feel like it's just...
Usually, yes.
just go. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Winter or summer?
Summer.
How many beers would it take for you to drink for me to beat you in a classical chess game?
That's a very difficult question, because I'd probably sober up during the game, so I'd probably have to keep drinking. Probably start with 20 and take it from there.
20, okay. What's the size of the cup?
Pints.
Wow, okay, 20. Name your price if you have to chess box.
$10 million.
Do you prefer to play chess on a computer, over the board, or on your phone?
I rarely play on my phone. I would say I prefer to play on the computer.
In your entire career, have you ever had a day where you went, I think this guy might be as good as me in chess?
No. Well, I mean, not you know, since, not the last 10 years, for sure.
Okay, has it ever been, this guy might be kind of close to me if I have a bad day?
Yeah, I would say Fabio at his best was very close in classical, for sure.
My other question was going to be, who do you think is the second best chess player in the world? So, I suppose.
Yeah, I think Fabiano Caruana is the second best player. Yeah.
Thank you, Magnus, for sitting down with us and doing these rapid fire questions. Now get out of here.
I'd classify trading as a game really that you're playing with competitors and basically every market participant in the world. My path, I came in as a poker player, but I think that the main thing that everybody has in common is a sense of competitiveness and interest in gaming and strategy in general. Yes, you can actually use gaming skills for your career and for something to do on a day-to-day basis.
Welcome back to week 3 of the Collegiate Chess League spring season presented by SIG. We are right now watching St. Louis University versus the National Technical University of Athens. But be sure to stick around. Coming up, we have Webster versus University of Missouri, which is going to be a very exciting match as well. Joe, we have seen the first 2 rounds now of SLU versus Athens, and right now SLU does have more points. They're at 6 points versus 2, so if they just get 2.5 more points in the next 2 rounds, they will win the match. How difficult do you think it's going to be for Athens to make a comeback here?
I think it's going to be really difficult because I think SLU's actually going to get their 2.5 points in the 3rd round. So I think they're going to close it out with a round to spare. But I do want to point out Athens did get a point against Batsurin in that previous round. Their top board, Andreas, with a big win. Definitely fooling one of SLU's top GMs. And they're going to have to repeat some of that magic and against even another GM, Benjamin Bok, in round 3. I'm excited for these matchups.
No, me too, especially because we're seeing right now board 1 versus board 2 on the top 2 boards, and obviously board 3 versus board 4. So now this matchup should be a little bit closer, and we need to see Athens, if they're going to have a chance here, we need to see them taking some important points, which is very difficult, obviously, because SLU is so strong, but it's not impossible. And we're watching blitz games. They're 5-minute games. Anything can happen. That is the beauty, I think, of blitz chess.
Yeah, it's true. But when you're up against the incredible SLU team with 3 top GMs and their board 4 is absolutely impressing everyone right now with 2 draws out of 2 games against the top 2 boards from Athens, I think they might even get some wins here in the second half.
Yeah, no, they might, but it would be very exciting to see if St. Louis doesn't completely close off the match in round 3, so we at least can get the excitement all the way to round 4. The games are just about to start. In fact, one of the games already started, so we're gonna be checking the games out immediately. Should we go for that game number 1, Joe?
Yeah, Theodoru, top board from SLU. He's going to start off the round. Reminder, the games are staggered by 30 seconds. We have a Roy Lopez here with F5. How do you feel about this opening, Anna?
I think that it's a brave opening, and I do not play it myself, but it's obviously very brave to go F5. Right in front of the king, right? The king hasn't castled yet. You're just pushing one of the important defensive pawns in the opening. I mean, it goes against some of the rules of chess, but it is playable. And especially when you're a grandmaster rated over 3,000 online, you are very much able to play that. So it's probably just one of those openings that Theodore just feels very comfortable with.
Yeah, and I think that part of this opening is he gets that bishop on the long diagonal. We see it traded for that knight, and Black's going to, I guess, castle long because he can't castle kingside anymore. But computer actually likes Black's position, so this might be some grandmaster prep here from Theodoru. White maybe looks like, can they take on F5 with tempo? I guess not. I really don't know much about the Roy Lopez, but this line in particular is definitely not a main line.
No, it's not. But I think the reason Theodore is playing it is because he wants to win. And as Black, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to win. It feels a lot of times like you're kind of playing on White's terms, and you're kind of just reacting, and you're not playing so actively. But this is the complete opposite of that. This is an active opening for Black that maybe with best play from White is not objectively the best to do, but it can create a lot of very dynamic play, which means that Black has a lot of winning chances because the game just becomes a little bit more like an elevator, right? It can go either way, and we can see now that he's already getting a better position. But I agree with you, Joe. I'm wondering why the pawn on F5 cannot be captured. Oh, maybe it's because of Queen G5. Could that be the reason, threatening the knight and threatening checkmate?
That's a great point, although perhaps there was knight G3 there, but
Yeah.
we see queen G5 anyways. The computer maybe doesn't like this as much. It would rather black get the pawn involved. Now the queen is blocking. So we see knight f3 hits the queen with a double check, actually, a discovery as well. So the queen has to move here. So maybe not best placed on g5. Theodorou, like you said, playing for the win with the black pieces, but perhaps not playing this the best with that last move, but still definitely a very dynamic position here. Opposite side castles, always fun. Queen goes to the h-file, getting out of the way of the pawn, saving itself from this attack. So yeah, g5 is kind of scary.
It is. G5 is very scary. G5, G4. But I have to say something. Whenever I am facing someone that's stronger than me, like Theodora is in this situation, when they play in a way that is very active, where they really just want to win and you feel it, it can sometimes be kind of nice because it feels like they might not play their best and they might leave some chances for the opponent to win somehow. So I think that this game can go either way, even though it looks right now very active for black.
Yeah, I would be worried though if I was Theodoro in a like, I mean, both sides. G5 first and foremost, definitely very scary, but this king also kind of loose, but maybe not so clear actually how white can break through. Maybe starting with c3, and that's exactly what we see. So trying to just open up lines, see if black will take and open up this b file. That would be very nice for white. This bishop at some point maybe going to point towards this king. So yeah, it's not so clear.
Definitely not so clear. We will come back to this game and see what happens. Let's check out game number 2 between Grandmaster Andreas Kaliris, the #1 board for Athens, and Benjamin Bok. I think this is one of the most exciting games this round. And we can see that Benjamin Bok, he's a fast player. He has over 4 minutes on the clock still. I always see him with more time, to be honest. And I don't know how he does it because he's streaming as well right now, right? I see him talking a bit.
Yeah, he's streaming. He's talking either to himself or to the chat, maybe both.
Maybe both.
Yeah, normally I feel like he's in a new setup. His lighting looks to be a little dim. Like he usually has a green screen or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Andreas, he's got a very well lit room. I've noticed it's kind of late in Athens. A lot of those players, it's dark out there. So this is one of those rare matchups here where it's dark for the SLU player but light for the Athens player.
Tell me about it. It is very dark here in Sweden too. But we can see here the position. Benjamin has this fantastic knight on e4, and you don't really want to capture it as white, I think. Bishop takes e4 is not really a move you want to do because that would really weaken the king. And even sometimes you might be able to play something like bishop c8, bishop h3 as black if that bishop got eliminated. So I don't think you want to take it, which means that that knight becomes very strong on e4. But at the same time, I think that white has this idea of going maybe knight d3 and knight e5, and that could also create some problems. But g5 is seen threatening the bishop and insinuating that black might want to go king g7, rook h8, bishop c8, and attack the king and bring the bishop and the rook and everything else you can bring.
Yeah, I love it. G5, it's supported by this awesome knight on e4, and it's just completely opening up things. It's just trying to get the attack going. Bishop back to c1, definitely very passive move here. So white, they're on their heels. Black is pushing. They're going to lift the king, like you said. I love this idea of bringing the rook over. And we never really want to take the knight because our bishop is such a defender of the light squares. Once we give this up, black's bishop's going to be an absolute monster, even though it's blocked right now by a lot of its own pieces. You keep mentioning the c8 pivot. So we do see king g7, exactly how you called it. And the moves are just very simple and easy for Bok. You can tell by how he's managing his time. The clock is definitely in his favor. And as Andreas gets lower and lower on the clock, the blunders will come with it. So definitely a tough position for white. I do not envy it at all.
No, I do not. And I have to say this, Benjamin Bok makes chess look easy. It feels like every time we watch him play, he just plays fast, plays some of the best moves, comes up with very understandable plans, and he just makes chess look easy, in my opinion. And I think that is really fun to see. So I don't know if my plan of bishop c8 is the correct one. I think it might be, but we will see what happens here. Should we check out some of the other games too, Joe?
Yeah, we can definitely tune into the other games. Actually, you want to take a look at Bird's Eye and get a glimpse of the total match?
Let's do that. Yeah, see if any games are standing out. And I'm seeing here that actually on game number 4, it looks as if maybe Athens is going to finally take down Nicolas John Ladon, who's been, you know, the superstar in a way, I feel like, in SLU. He's coming in board number 4, but he's still drawing these really strong players. So maybe this will be the first game that he loses somehow.
Yeah, this is actually really interesting. We see an imbalance, a big imbalance. There's a queen on the board for Petros, but not one for Nicholas. He's got 2 rooks for a queen, but black is up an extra knight, and that's really the main difference maker here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is just material that black is up. So I think that with the queen and the 2 knights that black has, I really do not see how white is going to defend this, to be honest, especially because yes, white has those rooks. Rooks, you know, are very strong, especially if you get them up, for instance, on the A file, if you're able to stack them up. They're going to be very strong there. But the thing is that white's king is also going to be pretty weak, I think. After moves such as queen b7 targeting b3, it's going to be really easy to just force the rooks to defend. And we see now this move d4, which I really like, that is just kind of opening up the king even more. And that is a knight that's hanging. What is happening here?
Well, there's another knight that's also hanging, but queen to e4 intermezzo, and the king's in check. I mean, the pawn structure is just ruined. So d4, what a nice move from Petros. But I want to take a quick look maybe and see if we can figure out when this queen got traded off and how. So let's see. Queenside castles and b5. This is the move that's I guess baited white after taking rook to b6. Queen takes another pawn.
Ooh.
Queen and rook double, knight to b3, and now rook a8. That queen is trapped. So,
oh, the queen is just trapped. Yeah, there's nothing that you can do there. So it was this move knight b3 that just trapped the queen.
Nice. Yeah, and that's how we got to the position now. So black should definitely be able to convert this. Love the queen to e4 check, then take on f3 with check, and you save the knight. So queen and 2 knights versus 2 rooks. This game should be wrapping up pretty quickly. So maybe we tune into another game.
Yeah, we do. But this is a huge win for Athens. We've said it. Athens needs those wins right now. And this is exactly what they're doing. So, I mean, this could be the comeback. It really much could be. Let's maybe check out game number 3. We haven't seen it yet, and see how Batsarin is doing versus Vasilius Kasiumis.
Yeah, this game still looks to be fairly even. Both sides castle king side. Vasilios has queen and rook doubled on the b file, but the queen is hit right now. And he's under 30 seconds, so he's definitely got to pick up the pace.
He does have to pick up the pace. We see our Batsarin has quite a lot more time. I also think that his position is quite comfortable. We've seen that in a lot of these games, it looks like it's equal because the eval bar is saying that it's equal, but then all of a sudden one move happens because someone has a better position, and then it just changes the game. 5 seconds, he needs to make a move.
Yeah, he's trying to trade queens to simplify. There's definitely going to be some pawns that are hanging. White has the better structure. This D pawn, definitely a very weak pawn, and it's very well blockaded by white's pieces. And the bishop maybe slightly better than the knight, especially this backwards knight, not looking to get into the game anytime soon. So, okay, the B pawn is hanging though, but I do think we should check out Bok's game, as it looks like he's about to be able to convert that.
I just saw 2 results that happened, so I just got very excited. But we have seen Athens winning on game number 4. Petros did end up winning that game, but we also have Grandmaster Nicolas Theodorou from St. Louis winning on board number 1. So it is right now 7-3, 1.5 more point for St. Louis, and they win the match.
Yeah, and they can look to get another point here from Bok, who's got 30 seconds to Andreas 5 seconds. So What do you notice about this position? It looks like the king is very weak here.
Well, what I'm first noticing is that black is up on exchange, so every single trade of queens is just going to be favorable. And then, yeah, the the kings, both kings look pretty weak, but it feels like black has that rook f8. I really like it because it allows for rook f7 in certain moments. And now, I mean, the queen and the rook are coming in. Yeah, I think this just looks really good for black. There's no way that Andreas Keller survives this.
Yeah, and actually we do see another result, Batsurin clinching his game. So SLU can clinch the match with a win here from Bok, and it looks like we're about to see this happen on the board.
Yeah, we're seconds away from celebrating St. Louis winning the match today, because if Bok wins this game...
When he wins it, which is right
when
now.
he wins it, which is right now, then St. Louis wins the match. So give a big round of applause for St. Louis, who wins the match. And I mean, they've just played really well. Very, very impressive match, I think. We've seen them letting go of very few points, and they just dominated.
Yeah, that was a 3-1 match or round result, 1 point by beating SLU's fourth board, as you called it. But 9-3 is the score for SLU. They're going to win the match. But we do have a fourth round to play, which is important for the game points, the cumulative points, the score, essentially, for tiebreakers in the standings. So SLU, they got the job done, but they're not done yet. They're looking to just continue winning points and adding on to their standings lead.
Yeah, and just maximize the win as much as possible. But I do find that match really impressive. I mean, you said it from the beginning, Joe. You kept going about how strong St. Louis is, and I knew that they were very strong, but I think this is just... Even when Athens was playing Webster or other top universities in previous weeks, we did not see this huge difference in points, in my opinion. So yeah, it's just a fantastic result for St. Louis.
Yeah, and I think that Athens could sweep this fourth round, and your prediction could come true, 9-7. But I need Athens to win 3 points instead of 4 for my prediction to come true. So we might still have something on the line here, Anna.
We might, and I was going to say that maybe you that are watching this should predict what do you think the final match score will be. What do you think is going to happen in this final round? Will now, when there's not any pressure really anymore, will now be the moment Athens makes the crazy comeback because they don't feel the pressure of having to win anymore? I mean, we don't know, but we're seeing here the game starting, and we're watching now Nicolas Theodorou playing against Andreas Kalliers, the two board ones. They're now facing all the respective boards.
Yeah, Grandmaster versus Grandmaster here. Andreas, he did get that 1 point against Batsurin, and Batsurin, the only Grandmaster from SLU, not with a perfect score. So Theodorou, he's 3 for 3 right now. He's got the white pieces now, and he's trying to close it out, finishing 4 for 4, perfect score, a sweep of his fellow countrymen, the other Greek players. So I'm actually curious. I wonder how well Theodorou knows Andreas, or if they've even played before together.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they should have. I feel like you play a lot of people in your country here in Europe. I feel like I've played most people in Sweden in terms of people that compete and stuff at chess. So I do think that they probably have, but it must be really interesting to face each other again in this setting where Nicolas is, representing a university in the US, St. Louis, so a very different setting than being at home and playing as your fellow countryman. But yeah, very, very fun to see how well he has played. And just, I think that all these people make chess look so easy, Joe. Like, I want to be able to do this too. I admire them.
Yeah, you brought this up first with Bok, and Bok, I mean, he's got a lot of fans, and it makes a lot of sense. He makes chess look easy. He makes it fun. He's streaming his match right now, which is definitely very appreciated. And he's got a fan in the chat whose username is Benjamin Bok is the best. So a lot of Bok fans, a lot of dedicated Bok fans. So maybe we actually take a look at Bok's game.
Yeah, let's check out Bok's game. But I am a fan of him too, He the other day he decided to play the cow opening on stream, and that made me very happy. And I thought, okay, I am a fan now, Bok. I am a fan, and he won with it too, which made me very happy.
Wow, do you think you could get Bok to play the cow opening in the Collegiate Chess League?
Oh, if we interview him later, I will definitely propose that to him. I think that would be a fantastic idea. Although I do not want to take any blame for St. Louis if it does not go the way it should go.
Well, well, I mean, you said he won with it, so I figured the cow was a good opening.
Well,
Is
it was
it
against the 1500.
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't recommend it against grandmasters?
No, I'm not saying that, Joe. I am not using those specific terms. I am just saying that sometimes the cow might pose some new challenges that other openings might not pose if you haven't played it a lot and you don't know everything about it. So we will see if we get to convince Benjamin of playing it. I think that would be really, really fun. This would have been a fantastic moment to do it, you know, now that they've already won the match.
Yeah, maybe the news got to him too late. But you know, it's interesting because we've seen some dubious openings in the past. Awonder Liang from U Chicago definitely comes to mind. We've seen some bomb clouds in the Collegiate Chess League, even in the top division. So the cow may be coming to a CCL match near you in the future. Stay tuned.
I will be so excited. You will never hear me with more excitement than that. Yeah, that would be amazing. Let's see what's happening here in the game. How Benjamin Bok is doing. This looks like it is becoming. It looked relatively equal, but now h5 was thrown in by Black.
Yeah, H5 definitely breaking the ice here, definitely intending to continue with H4. So perhaps Bach puts a stop to that with H4 of his own, but he doesn't. Bishop develops to F4, just taking some more space in the center. We've seen this knight here on E4 in other games, and this definitely, maybe we could see even G5 included, although that might be a little too much. But I wonder if H4 is going to be played now.
I am telling you, there might be a kind of psychological thing where Athens feels like they've already lost the match. They don't really have anything to lose apart from proving themselves and winning some games. So we might see this as the most aggressive match that Athens has played so far, just because of that.
Okay, B5, looking to see what Black does. I'm assuming they push, right? But I guess that would weaken the D pawn. So they take first, and now White has a choice of which pawn to take. They take on D5, and now there's a couple pawns hanging.
There's several pawns hanging. I am wondering now if this h5 pawn is not just going to become a weakness. Because after rook takes h5, the problem is also that the knight becomes pinned. I mean, you move the knight, queen h7 could come in. And if you play knight f6, I mean, you have bishop g5. I don't know. There's a lot of things hanging here. It might actually be White that goes for an attack instead of Black. It's easy to say, oh, I'm pushing all my pawns in front of my king and I'm attacking my opponent. But all of a sudden, you're the one just opening up your king and just creating weaknesses for yourself.
Yeah, it's definitely very double-edged, but they say you can't make an omelet without breaking an egg. So right now, rook takes d5. Yeah, this is the egg, h5, right? And if you get it cracked, well, maybe you make an omelet with some sort of attack, but maybe you're the one getting your eggs cracked. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this. But okay, rook e5, that's the big threat right here. That would win a piece for White.
I have not heard that saying, Joe. Here in Sweden, we haven't heard about the eggs.
You haven't?
The cracked
Okay.
eggs.
Wait,
No.
I thought rook takes was a big move here as well.
The rook is hanging right now on a1, so something needs to be done about that.
So nice little counterattack here from Demetris. Queen to f6. Good eye, Anna. But probably doubling should be fine, right?
Yeah, it looks like if you just double, that should be fine. There's also then the knight on e4 that is hanging. So White is still going to be having a lot of different threats. So rook d1 is probably going to be played, I think, very quickly.
Yeah, so save the rook first and foremost, and then Black has to deal with this knight issue that's hanging. And maybe White will take back on b5 when the time is right.
Yeah, white definitely wants to do that. I mean, if you let black capture that a4 pawn and just get those 2-pass pawns, it's going to be very, very, very difficult to come back for white, I think. So I think it's definitely a double-edged position. We can maybe check out some of the other games too. We have, for instance, if we check out Bird's Eye View, I'm seeing game number 4 looking like a very exciting game with G4 being played. Once again, Athens just going for these big aggressive moves.
Yeah, we saw board 4 from SLU Nicolas lose his first game of the match in round 3. And it looks like he's bouncing back here. He's got a fantastic position. G4, like you called it, very weakening. In fact, it's kind of making this king a little loose. And look at the development of the pieces, actually. Black has everything here in the middle. White, meanwhile, they only have their knight developed, and it's on the edge of the board. So what's going on with this game?
Well, I agree. I think that white's pieces are not very good, but I see the potential in them. B3, bishop A3. The knight on G2 can go to E3. It's going to stop the E pawn forever. The light squared bishop is on F1, but that one I think it's fine that is there because it's defending on H3. So I guess the question is if you can, as white, at any point play G5 and Queen H5 and then just create a kind of attack towards that king. So now, I mean, the tables are kind of turning. Look at that eval bar.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a couple crazy swings here. Let's actually take a look back. The move was bishop c8 that was played, but black has a good advantage here. The computer wanted g5. This is definitely out of left field. I was not even putting this move on my radar, just a complete sacrifice of a pawn, but I guess it makes sense if the queen can come in. Knight block, maybe we take on h3. Like, it's definitely very complicated. There's a lot going on in that position. So hard move to find for Nicolas. He brings the bishop back, and now white makes some improving moves. We see this move f5, taking space, trade in the center, but bishop comes out to f4 with tempo. Pawn takes back, and we see white slowly but surely is improving their position.
Wow. I really like actually now the idea of going G4 and especially F5 and opening up that F4 square for white's pieces. I think that is beautiful. Just look how he's pushing the pawns. This is actually amazing. I really like it. Those pieces that looked so passive before are now just coming to life. Those pawns are just very over pushed, but there's not really any way immediately for black to attack white's king. So it's actually fine. And now the question is if there's going to be any breakthrough that you can do as white here. I don't know if you can play. Wow, another pawn is coming. Literally h4 to go h5, g6 maybe. Or yeah.
He's just bringing in every single piece, every single pawn. Everything's working together here. So how to break through, though. So which pawn would you push? And every pawn push comes with maybe a drawback, a potential blunder. So it's not easy. And black's king just is chilling in the corner with all of its pieces just defending its rook opposite this king. So anytime you try to open lines up, you got to keep in mind your king also might be at risk. So white not pushing anything, but actually loses this f pawn. And maybe they overextended.
Maybe they did, but look at that rook coming in. I think it was a little bit of a pawn sacrifice just to bring the pieces in. I just find it so ironic how now it's black, the one that's so passive right now. Like, it's literally a 360 from what we said before when we first started watching this game. So rook e7, I wonder, do you have to trade? But I don't know if you really want to trade.
That's a good point. So we do see the trade. Knight takes back, and now the rook comes to the f file opposite the queen. This bishop is going to be a very happy piece on this diagonal, I believe. But maybe it's going to get flushed out by one of these knights. So again, we see bishop pair versus two knights. But this time it's the Greek player that has it instead of SLU. So h5. Looking to go for h6, I assume, because if this pawn ever leaves, this bishop's going to be a monster. In fact, we might want to take this. Okay, instead, queen pins the knight, but this might help black with the queen trade.
Yeah, because you do not want to trade queens here as white, I think. So we're seeing now the evil bar going back and forth. I wonder if there was anything better if you could have gone queen takes queen actually in h6 in that position before. Because now the knight has time to reroute itself to c6. And now bishop e5 is going to be really difficult to do at any point. So I wonder if that was the moment before to trade queens actually to get h6 and bishop e5 in.
Yeah, you said it. It was counterintuitive to trade queens because you're the one that's attacking, right? But that queen trade allowed us to have time to play h6 before the knight covers this bishop check. So perhaps an opportunity missed here from white's. And look at white's clock, less than 10 seconds on the clock.
So little time, so little time. I mean, we're seeing here just how important time is. Yes, 6 seconds on the clock, so easy to make a mistake. The knights are now starting to become stronger. The b4 pawn is hanging. Can it just be taken? Okay, the knight is hanging, but knight c4. And then what? Or knight f5. And now we're seeing some trades. And I think now it's going to be the moment where we see truly the weaknesses that have been created because of these pawns having overextended this much.
Wow, knight takes the pawn on d4. If king took the pawn, there was a fork. But no, king goes to g8 saying, how are you going to break through? And now... oh, you got to give up the exchange. That was a fork. G6 threatening mate on h7. And if pawn takes, there's queen h8. I mean, the computer loves black, but there's a huge attack here from white.
Huge attack, and definitely not as easy to see this as a human. So actually, black decides to give up the exchange back, and we see that that was actually the best continuation, I think, from the computer. Very nice move, rook g5 check.
Yeah, if white took that, the queen would come in and just take all the pawns. So another idea to stop that attack was the move h5, which prevents any trades or captures. The exchange sacrifice works out just as well. And we see black has defended and looks like they're going to come out on top.
I mean, and we can see now just how amazing it is to have the king behind the pawn. This is a really thematic thing. Something that's really good to learn if you're watching this and you haven't seen this idea before, that you don't always have to take every pawn that's free. Actually, one of your opponent's pawns can actually be a shield to your king. You have to use whatever you have to your advantage, and that's what he did there.
Yeah. And I like this move d4, just pushing thing, giving up that pawn, but that's going to weaken the king even further because that opens up lines. We see rook check. If king takes, queen check now. That pawn was blocking the d5 square. This forces the queen trade. We could even sack the rook here for this pawn. This extra pawn is good enough, but no. King to the center, giving up the h pawn, now sacking the exchange. And going to take the next pawn. Yeah, this is a nice win from SLU's board 4, getting another point here. So, yeah, that's an awesome result. And there's only a couple games left, I believe.
I don't know if there's any games left, Joe. It might be that it is over already. I cannot see any other games.
You might be right, actually. Let's take a look at the final score. That was the last game of the match. 11.5 to 4.5 win for St. Louis. So I was 1.5 points off from my prediction, 10 to 6. So not that far off, but definitely a better score than we were expecting.
Yeah, no, I think we both thought that it was going to be closer than what it was, but what a fantastic performance by St. Louis. That was just incredible to watch, to be honest. They played so well. Absolutely amazing. Compete in February's opening roulette arena. This month's theme is the Nightorf, so join the arena every Monday to get better at this opening and win prizes like Chessable credits, diamond membership, and even lessons with a Chessable author. Use !roulette in chat to learn more. We'll see you in the arena. Joe, do you think that you could beat Danny or Wesley So in blindfold chess?
Where I'm blindfolded?
Where they're blindfolded. No, you are not going to be. That would be terrible. If they're blindfolded, do you think that you could beat them?
No, I've played Danny before. I haven't played Wesley, but I'm pretty sure both of them could beat me blindfolded. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Wesley's obviously an incredibly strong chess player, and Danny too. But the exciting thing is that they have played each other in blindfold chess. So let's see and find out what happened. We will be right back.
We're gonna play blindfold blitz. So I'm actually gonna get up right now and I'm gonna blindfold him. All right. This is, you know, nothing weird's gonna happen here. Trust me. There you go, close your eyes, right? I'm gonna move the pieces for you. So all you gotta do is just say the move and I'm gonna move the pieces for him. I'm gonna start your clock. You just say your move and hit your clock.
So, okay.
Go ahead.
Play 1b3.
Okay. Okay, so he plays b3. I'm gonna play knight f6.
Bishop b2.
g6.
Knight f3.
Bishop g7.
c4. c4.
Yep.
You got a good position.
All right, knight takes d4.
Queen takes d4 check.
Knight to f6.
Queen e3.
I think you're doing great, just so you know.
Oh, thank you.
If you're worried.
Yeah, that looks like a very boring position.
Why am I struggling so much with the right thing to play here?
My plan now is just to try to flag you.
Queen to b6.
Yeah, that's a good move.
I have 2 minutes and 24 seconds. You have 4 minutes and 45 seconds.
Maybe I should have given you 10 minutes.
All right, I know. I'm old and slow.
You're not 40 yet.
All right, I'm gonna play rook to d8.
I'll play rook fd1.
You play a lot of good chess moves. Has anyone ever told you that?
No.
How am I gonna hold a freaking draw here? Come on, Dan. All right, rook takes d1.
Yeah, rook takes rook. I gotta do what I need to do to win.
You gotta do what you gotta do to win. I respect it. Knight to f6.
What are you doing? You training something? I'll play king to e3.
Why did you have to see it? It was just one. rook to d1.
D?
d1.
Yeah, I see you, Daddy.
Okay.
I'll play rook to c4.
Okay, bishop to d5.
I'll play rook to c3.
Wesley, this is your chance to blunder. You can do it. Rook to g1.
Push a5. No more mate.
Rook to g1.
Pawn to e4.
Oh man, was an accurate move. Bishop to b7.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I like going a8. I can't do it. I can't take advantage of a blind man. I'm getting mated. King to g7.
Why are you running?
That was a good move by me. It's not over yet.
Okay. Knight e8 check. I'm gonna play the most boring.
King to f7.
Rook takes bishop a6.
Run it, Wesley.
Yeah.
King takes e8.
King e6.
King to f8.
King to f6.
Oh wow, that hurts actually. That's a big time. Oh, I lost on time.
Oh,
that was a big time. I lost track of time. Wow.
Good game.
I almost feel okay about myself. Almost.
Yes. Yeah, you're doing good for your first game after a long time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd classify trading as a game really that you're playing with competitors and basically every market participant in the world. My path, I came in as a poker player, but I think that the main thing that everybody has in common is a sense of competitiveness and interest in gaming and strategy in general. Yes, you can actually use gaming skills for your career and for something to do on a day-to-day basis.
Welcome back to week 3 of the CCL spring season presented by SIG. We all strive for personal accomplishments. Grandmaster and SIG trader Andrew Tang recently achieved one of his own. He played in the US Championship. What was it like playing against all those super grandmasters? Let's take a listen.
Hey folks, Casa Corley here, head of community at Chess.com, and I'm joined today by Andrew Tang. So, Andrew, glad that you're with us today. You recently played your first US Championships.
Awesome.
Can you tell us about that experience?
Yeah, it was an incredible experience to finally play my first US Championship. I've never gotten to play, so many strong players before. I think maybe I've only played one Super Gym in the past in classical, so this time I got to play against basically an average field of super GMs, so it was really fun. I haven't gotten to challenge myself so much in a tournament ever.
Now, the funny thing is, you might not have played many Super GMs before, but every Super GM has probably heard of you. And so what's that like for people to know you as the super fast, like, online guy? Like is there a contrast, and how strong is it when you're playing over the board?
Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, sometimes it feels strange, like knowing that people like Magnus, Hikaru, and just like random Super GMs know who I am, even though classical is not my specialty.
You're now a trader at SIG. What's it like to balance the chess dynamic, because you're still a very successful chess player, and also the professional career that you're diving into?
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I still like to play chess in my free time. The US Championship was my first major tournament since starting working at SIG. They definitely helped me try to keep my chess skill up.
Yeah, folks at home might not realize this, but SIG is a huge advocate of gamers and recruits a lot of gamers into the company. And so how do they support you as a chess player, and how do they support other gamers?
Yeah, I think they've just fostered a culture that's like really supportive of people playing games.
Well, thanks for being with us today, Andrew, and have a good weekend.
Well, hey everyone. We're here at the Chess.com Champions Chess Tour Finals, and of course, fair play is a huge topic for everyone around the world, as it should be, including questions like, can you actually keep a venue secure? Can you actually stop cheating, even if it's some of the most advanced spyware level stuff out there? The answer is yes, you can. And where I just entered is where the players enter. They can go directly to their rooms and back from here. But now we're gonna walk through as if we're a regular person. This guy's gonna say, you don't belong here. But okay, jokes aside, all right, now we're gonna get into the real stuff, all right? Players are brought down into this area before games at a scheduled time so that they have enough time to be fully checked for fair play. This right here is the private lounge area where only staff are allowed to have electronics. The players are not allowed to have any electronics with them once they've entered this area. But when they come early, they do so because they need plenty of time to get fully checked by our fair play tech. I'll try to talk a little softer because they're actually playing their games right now. But okay, at some point here, a player will come over and they'll wait in this line before being asked to enter the private fair play screening area. Once we're in this private fair play screening area, the players wait, only one player in here at a time. I'm standing here right next to a sir who looks like he has a fancy device. What's your name, sir?
My name is George. I work with the fair play department. My job is to detect cheaters, is to find out if anyone is trying to get a gadget that helps him win the game. That's not gonna happen on my watch. Not gonna happen on his watch, okay. All right, this is a little bit fancier than the normal kind of thing you see in RFT scanner. What exactly is this doing that's different? It's called a nonlinear junction detector. Its job is to detect any signals transmitted from another device outside or transmitted from a device that is on a player who's trying to cheat outside to a foreign sender. It can only be acquired from specific countries. It's not like a normal metal detector that you just buy on eBay. It's a microphone. I guess I don't even know why we're doing this. I'm full of the things that are going to get detected. I didn't actually hide anything here, which is good to know. Maybe I should have. Okay, we're going to find out. We'll see. That's right. Don't assume anything. It's pretty phenomenal stuff. Thank you, George. This is pretty much just a bunch of cameras for the show. We do have cameras everywhere, so we're watching the players no matter what. Now, after they've been scanned, they are not allowed to leave this area, like, period, during active gameplay. So you're talking about an area that is maybe more secure than any over-the-board chess tournament that has ever been secured. That's what you're talking about, right? And I hope that
watching this video showed you what we're doing. I hope you appreciate it. It's some pretty high level stuff. I definitely am making a call to every over-the-board organizer to invest in their own nonlinear junction detection devices, because at this point, if you're not doing that, you're not doing it good enough, and we hope that you will consider investing in the same way that Chess.com has. We out.
I'd classify trading as a game really that you're playing with competitors and basically every market participant in the world. My path, I came in as a poker player, but I think that the main thing that everybody has in common is a sense of competitiveness and interest in gaming and strategy in general. Yes, you can actually use gaming skills for your career and for something to do on a day-to-day basis.
Welcome back to week 3 of the Collegiate Chess League spring season presented by SIG. We are moments away from our second match of the day, Webster University versus the University of Missouri. Joe, what can you tell us about these teams?
I mean, these are two titans in the Collegiate Chess League and the college chess world at large. These are two teams that are undefeated so far. They're both a perfect 2 for 2 out of their first 2 weeks. This is Webster's first season in the Collegiate Chess League. This is Mizzou's 8th season. I'm pretty sure they played every single season, and they've won it before, and they're looking to win it again. But Webster, I mean, such an awesome team joining, and there's so much history between these two teams, and they're both qualified for the Final Four. So this is a preview for that matchup coming up in a couple months. So yeah, Anna, take it away. I mean, what else is there?
I am just so excited to see, two such strong universities playing against each other. But also, this match will feature arguably the best CCL player through 2 weeks of play. We have here Grandmaster Mikhail Antipov, who's the board 2 of Missouri, and he has just played so incredibly well. I mean, he might be one of the strongest cards that Missouri has. He's a Russian Grandmaster. He has the second best win percentage in the 2023 CCL fall season, only after Theodoru, who had 90%. He's the only unbeaten spring season player. Yeah, just insane accuracies, has been playing insanely well. Is he going to start losing today? I don't know. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like he's just going to keep winning.
Well, what's crazy is that he's unbeaten. Let's see if that maybe snaps today, because Webster's bringing a full team of 4 Grandmasters. This is 4 Grandmasters versus 4 Grandmasters. We have 8 Grandmasters, Anna, in this one match. This is the maximum amount. And what's even crazier is, even though we highlighted Antipov, he's not even their board 1. He's board 2 for Mizzou.
It is insane. 8 Grandmasters. If you are not a Grandmaster, you cannot play in this match. That is how strong this is. And once again, I mean, Joe, a lot of people might think, oh, college chess. Oh, what is happening? This is high elite level chess. Everybody is a Grandmaster. These are not, people just studying and having chess is just a little hobby. No. These are people that are spending their whole lives into becoming amazing chess players. And I just find it so fascinating to see just how they have time to both go to university and be top world-class Grandmasters.
Yeah, it's absolutely inspiring. It's kind of amazing, and I cannot wait to see this match. These two teams very evenly matched. In fact, I would say it's a coin flip. So I have no idea who's going to win, and we have a prediction in the chat. So I'm curious to see what chat thinks, right? Is Webster going to take down Mizzou, the veterans that have been playing in every season of the CCL, or is Mizzou going to show they've got the experience to take down Webster? In fact, Mizzou at the Pan Ams just last month, they won the whole thing. So they got first place. Webster, they only got third place behind UT Dallas. So this is actually going to be a really awesome match. This is, like I said, the preview for the Final Four. And yeah, absolute coin flip. I have no idea who's going to win this one.
Honestly, one of these two universities might be the winning team of this whole season. So we are right now talking about really the top of the season, playing against each other in the early stages of the league. So very, very exciting. Let us know in chat who you think is going to be the winner. Is Webster going to win? Is Missouri going to win? Let us know what your opinion is, and you will see if you're right or not. We're seeing right now the first game. We have here Grandmaster Luka Borisavljevic facing Grandmaster Aram Hakobian from Webster, which we actually interviewed a few weeks ago. And he said that obviously Webster, they're the favorites, he said. He thought they were one of the favorites. So yeah, very, very, very fun to see him playing again. And we have a pretty normal opening, I think, so far. I would believe this started out of a D4 game.
Yeah, it did actually. This was a Queen's Gambit decline. We can go back and see how it started. And I know you like D4, right?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and specifically Queen's Gambit?
Yeah, specifically Queen's Gambit. I play the Queen's Gambit every time I play chess. I am the most predictable person to face, and that is not a great thing, but I just love it. I love the Queen's Gambit. I was incredibly happy when the Queen's Gambit show was called Queen's Gambit because it's my favorite opening. So I play it every single game. So that's why I could tell that this was from a Queen's Gambit position because of the pawn structure.
Wait. And I thought you were a cow opening fan. Thought that was
In
your opening.
life, we need a little bit of variation with things. We cannot just go for the same thing all the time. So yes, I like to add a little sprinkle of fun with the cow opening, but that does not mean that I do not enjoy the Queen's Gambit the most. It's my rock in chess, you know, it's the thing that I've always had. That and the Sicilian. And one of my favorite Sicilians is actually the Najdorf. I used to play it all the time in the past. Don't play it as much anymore, but it's going to be really fun to see if anybody plays the Najdorf today, because I think it's one of the most exciting openings you can play as black in general.
Okay, so we've got Queen's Gambit decline, Najdorf, and the cow. So
yeah,
we're keeping an eye out for all three of these kind of openings.
We are. Those are the three we're keeping an eye out. I am very happy that we are.
All right. Well, this one, we have Queen's Gambit decline checked off our list. And I'm curious, actually, is there a move Bishop A6? Does this lead to anything? Or are we going to play the knight to B5?
I think we're going to play the knight to B5. And even though it looks a little bit scary, I think that after A4, actually, there's not really anybody that can kick our knight away from there. The only pawn that can do it is the A pawn, which is blocked by the bishop. So actually, I think that it's pretty fine. The bishop on B2 gets opened up, that diagonal looking towards G7. We might even bring up a queen to G4. If bishop F6, then we might go E5, and all of a sudden the bishop on C2 is looking towards the king. And there's all kinds of things that you can do here as white. A lot of ideas, very open position. I love these kind of positions for white, to be honest.
Yeah, sounds like you're not only a fan of the Queen's Gambit decline, but you're definitely a great spokesperson and an advocate for the Queen's Gambit. So, okay, we do see Bishop A6, and the computer doesn't want Knight B5, actually. It wants your idea, Queen G4, going for mate, just sacking that exchange.
Yeah, I mean, after Queen G4, taking on F1 looks very terrifying after maybe something like Knight F5. Knight C6 would maybe just win on the spot, threatening the queen and threatening checkmate at the same time.
Yeah, that would be quite the mistake to take on F1. So Aram Hakobian, top board for Webster. He goes for this. Queen G4 played. Luka, he says, go ahead, take the rook, see if I care. I'm going to checkmate you on G7.
That's the thing about chess. You can give up anything as long as you get a checkmate in return.
Yeah, he sacrifices the rook.
No, you really wanted to do that, Joe, didn't you? You were thinking about it. You wanted to commit to it.
Listen, I mean, he did it. Okay, wait, H5. Okay, saying I'm going to distract your queen, then I'll take your rook when you're not threatening mate anymore on G7. Man, I wish there's always these awesome sacrifices when you get the double checks, right?
He's
but
calculating
it
it
like
for
it's
sure.
working out.
Yeah.
Probably
No,
just Queen G3. but then I guess is there bishop h4? Oh, it's very annoying. Wow, he takes.
And he
Okay.
takes the rook. Wow, he's brave.
Yeah, and black is up material technically, but definitely not through the worst of it. This bishop and queen might line up for a mate. We might see f4, rook f3 get into the game. I definitely think the white has the better side here.
I really think that this is just the kind of situation where white doesn't get anything specific for the exchange, but it's more just saying, I am going to have a long-term advantage because your king is so weak. So yes, with ideas like you said, f4, rook f3, I mean, maybe even ideas of going rook d1 and trying to go b4 and rook d3 to trying to gain some tempos. It's all about being fast now, I think. But there's a million ways of getting that rook into play. And if you're able to have your rook, 2 bishops, a queen, and a knight all pointing towards the king, like, you don't have to be a good mathematician to realize that the equation probably leads to a checkmate.
Yeah, you don't have to be good at math to be good at chess. So, but I'm sure these players are also good at math. They are in college studying. I wanted to point out this move, e5. This is the top recommended move from the computer. It shuts down the bishop. It shuts down this pawn, which shuts down this bishop, but it leaves this giant hole on f5 for the knight to activate. And also, let's say e5, that is kind of a free pawn, but Aram Hakobian plays it. This is such incredible chess that we're witnessing. And like Aram Hakovian's board 1, this is Mizzou's board 4. This is round 1 of the match. If white wins this, that would be a huge upset for the Mizzou team, and that would bode extremely well for their chances of winning and perhaps upsetting Webster. But Aram Hakobian, board 1, he's played the best move here, giving up this pawn. And he, as you said, mentioned in the interview that Webster's the best team. So he's got a lot to prove here today.
He does. And I think that is just such a crazy move to make, in the sense that it just looks positionally wrong because you're giving up this f5 square. But these players are at the level where they can go beyond what looks right or wrong and actually know what is right or wrong in a specific situation. And I think that's the best part about this.
Yeah, absolutely incredible move here. We see knight to c6, hitting the queen and the bishop. So taking definitely was not the move. Queen steps up to d6. Haram was prepared for this, and he's starting to get a little bit of an edge on the clock here. But there goes that e-pawn. So instead of taking with the queens, takes with the knight. And again, these bishops are looking fantastic over here. And Haram now less than a minute.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought we were going to see knight f5, but he is a pawn up, so he went for maybe in a way kind of the safer choice of just winning a pawn. But Aram is getting a lot of counterplay. Queen d2, targeting the bishop on c2. If the bishop moves, the bishop on b2 is hanging. You definitely have a situation here that you need to take care of. Obviously, with more time, it's a lot easier. And now knight c6, threatening knight takes e7, not only winning a bishop, but checkmating the king. So queen takes c2, it is not possible right now. That bishop needs to be dealt with. And I would guess that after now, we are going to see maybe something like queen g4, maybe queen e5, maybe there's bishop f8 then, but some sort of intermediate move to just create some counterattack. Maybe there's knight e5 now, targeting f7. How do you defend that? There's a million different ideas right now, but I think that bishop on c2 is not going to be protected right now. I think we're going to see an intermezzo.
Yeah, this idea queen g4, I think black not only attacking the bishop could pivot and go and defend the king again, looking for a queen trade. But we do see the defense of the bishop. Rook c1, a passive move here from Luca. This could be black's opportunity to get back into the game. The computer actually preferred knight to d4, going backwards and defending. So, okay, we see this trade, giving up the knight for this bishop on b2. That was one of the best pieces, and that attacks the rook, attacks the a-pawn. Both players now less than a minute. Watch out for f2. Now it's Aram Hakobian who's throwing the punches.
Yeah, Aram has decided to be the one that's attacking, be the active one. And I mean, you have to defend on f2. Do you have to go queen h4? Do you have to go queen f3? I don't know, but you have to do something. Okay, instead, e5 is played, g6. What is
He
going
doesn't
on?
defend
Bishop
f2.
takes g6.
He sacrifices the bishop, and
He
it's
just
gonna
wants
be
to
a
draw.
perpetual.
It's going to be a perpetual, yeah, which obviously is still a great result for him. It's kind of also a great team decision. Hey, I'm board number 4. I'm just going to save a draw against the number 1 player for opposing team. That is a fantastic result for Luca. He did have the edge before, but not easy, obviously. And I think it's just going to go back and forth here. And there we have it.
First result of the first round. Let's take a look at another game. I see maybe Raja's game has a bit of an edge here, and definitely a time scramble coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, they're both around 20 seconds. This is not just bullet chess, but this is ultra bullet chess that we are watching right now at this point. So we see that both have castled queenside. Looks like quite a sharp position. Knight is coming up to some nice squares. Knight g5 could be very nice, followed by knight f7 somehow. Maybe you can put the rooks on the e-file. That f-pawn, double f-pawn, doesn't matter. F-pawn, very strong. That pawn, if you can push it, it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and that I think is the difference maker in this position right now. The queen's hit moves aside. This pawn is maybe hanging. There's a discovery with this knight hanging. Both sides less than 10 seconds.
So little time.
Oh,
and
there's
mistake!
a fork.
Bishop
A huge
g5.
fork.
Huge fork. It is now undefendable. It's not just an exchange. It's a full rook.
Oh my goodness. Black put every heavy piece on that diagonal, and the bishop's eyes lit up, and Raja gets an upset win. This is board 3 for Mizzou, taking down Yasser Quesada Perez. Board 2 for Webster. Mizzou's on top.
Mizzou is definitely on top. I feel like in both games, they have been the ones that have the edge. That is just a fantastic result for Mizzou. Let's check out some other games that we have over here. Grandmaster Gergely Cantor versus Grandmaster Grigoriy Oparin. Oparin has also been a very famous name, also been doing great results lately in the Chessable Masters.
Yeah, but he's actually on the receiving end of this position. Looks like white, Gergely Cantor, is up in exchange. He gives it up, but he still has some pawns to show for it.
Yeah, he does. He does have some pawns, but I mean, look at that c7 pawn. It's just going to fall. That a7 pawn just going to fall. How are you going to defend all of this? That is the question. Queen f3 coming in. So active. Queen, yeah, there. Queen d5. Just,
Ooh.
oh, but the pawn falls.
Wow, he gave up g4 with check. That was a huge miss. A mistake here. And now Oparin, maybe he's going to get a draw out of it.
If he goes for it, but I don't know if he's going to. He might want to push for the win. He's seeing the pressure that Cantor is feeling right now, and I think especially after he made this big mistake, you could see it on his face. Oh no, I made a mistake. That might put him in a worse psychological state, you know?
Yeah, this is crazy. Oparin does have the outside B pawn, the passer, and he might use that. He's looking for a queen trade, but okay. Looks like he's holding on to the B pawn. This should be a draw.
Should be a draw. White definitely has, well, yeah, it just should be a draw. For sure. There's
but
not
anything
really
can happen.
much more.
They do have the time scramble and the pressure.
They do. They do. I don't know if you can go, yeah, pushing. I don't know if he's going to try to somehow go king g5, and I don't know if he's going to go h5, although maybe you don't really want to do that, but king g5 is played. Check. I mean, you can go for a million checks right now if you want to. Is he going to go king d5? No.
This might be the draw. Yeah, it is. So let's check on the last game. We do have Antipov that we highlighted. Undefeated so far in this season. This game also looking like a draw. Can he hold on to this undefeated streak?
I feel like you can. Rook endgames, just... My mom always says this, Anna, most rook endgames are a draw. And I typically thought that that was true, but then I started losing a lot of rook endgames. And I said, Mom, you lied to me. Not all rook endgames are drawn. So even though at high level, when you really study these and you know these, a lot of, even if you're a pawn down, a lot of times it's a draw. What's happening here?
We had an e-file bar swing. Oh my god! Oh! What's happening? The king gets in.
The king gets in.
White's up a pawn. I mean, we might have just jinxed Antipov.
We jinxed him. We jinxed him, Joe.
Oh, Antipov's first loss going to come at the hands of Webster, and they're going to tie the score up.
He seems to be surprised that this is happening, which I would be too if I would have won, or at least not lost so many games. But he ends up losing this game. Wow, we really jinxed him, Joe.
Yeah, Harsha Bharadkari getting the win for Webster, and that's going to tie the score up 2-2. So, yeah, neck and neck, as expected, as close as it gets. And reminder, Webster, their last match, they tied every round against UTRGV to tie 8-8 before winning in overtime. Do you think we're going to see a repeat of that?
I think there is a chance. I do see the possibility of this going to tie breaks. If there's a match that's going to go to tie breaks, I feel like it's this one. So I see it as a very probable thing, and I would not mind that at all. I think that would be very exciting. I think that in these games, the shorter the time control, the crazier it gets, and that's just a good thing.
Yeah, what an absolute amazing performance. We saw Antipov's first loss of the season. It might be his last, but it also might be the first of more to come. So Webster's definitely looking to give him some more losses along the way. But yeah, awesome first round. And there's going to be 3 more just like it coming up.
3 more very exciting rounds. We just watched a historical moment. If you are here, know that you watched a historical moment because it doesn't happen often that Antipov loses. So we joined there right at the right moment. But we're going to be seeing now round number 2, which is going to start at any point. And we can see here the new pairings. They're playing new people now. Switch seats and, well, not literally, but the switchboards. And here we have the games starting right now. Let's go ahead and check out Aram Hakobian, see what is going on in game number 1, playing against board 3 of Missouri.
Yeah, Aram Hakobian, he started off with a draw against Mizzou's board 4, Luca. So Aram looking to get some points back. He's got the white pieces now. He's playing against Raja, who had a good result. I think he had the win in the first round for Mizzou. So 2 draws and 2 decisive results in that first round. In that first round, I mean, it's board 1 versus board 4, but really in these 2 teams with these 2 lineups, anyone is pretty much interchangeable. Like they're firing on all pistons here.
They are. And I mean, they're all grandmasters. I would suppose that their classical ratings is a little bit closer. These are their online ratings, where some people may have played more online or just may be better with little time, whatever. But I think their chess knowledge, in terms of just like FIDE rating, I think it might be a lot closer.
Yeah. And I see we got a couple Missouri fans actually in the chat. We see CM Rui, who we've seen play. He's the captain for Webster. And another fun fact, Missouri's called the Show Me State. So we're gonna show some mates, I think, coming up. I'm really excited to see the Missouri rivals going at it. And yeah, SLU is the only undefeated team besides these 2. And one of these teams is going to remain undefeated. And the other is going to get their first loss of the season. A lot on the line here.
Did you say show me state or show? What did you say?
Yeah, show me. So like, show me the money. Show me the facts. Show me, the results, right? So we're going to see the result. These 2 teams are going to show us who's the better school right now.
I like that. I like that different states have like different, that it's very different from state to state in the US. Here in Sweden, it's not really that different. If you're in Stockholm or if you're in Gothenburg or something, it's not the same thing as it is over there. So I do think that is really cool. Oh, what is happening here? H4, we are seeing so many pawn moves in front of the king. H4 to prevent H4 by black. But now I'm wondering, this H4 pawn, is that not just going to become very weak? Or what is happening?
Yeah, look at Raja inducing some weaknesses. H5 from himself, anticipating perhaps H4. So white plays it themselves, but notice the difference here. This knight is defending the H pawn, whereas this pawn undefended and opposite this queen. And this knight is now no longer defended. This pawn was defending it because white is included F3. So perhaps more weaknesses for Aram Hakobian than his opponent here. So really nice investment on this h5 move from Harshit Raja.
Absolutely, for sure. And I think one thing that's right now getting my eyes to look at it is that bishop on b2. What is that bishop doing? It looks like a big pawn right now because of it being blocked by so many pawns. So it's really not looking like a strong piece. And now, like you mentioned, the f3 pawn is stopping the knight on g3 from being defended. So now you have to defend it. But do you go knight f5? Do you really want to trade knights? Maybe you do. Maybe you do go knight f5, but I see a lot of situations where the queen can come up to g3, and all of a sudden that h4 pawn is almost undefendable. Could be very scary, especially with that bishop being on b2, not being able to defend it.
Yeah, queen to c7, a simple development move here from Raja, and Aram's got some questions that need to be answered, and the big one that you pointed out, this tall pawn here on b2, that bishop definitely suffering. Hopefully anticipating for some trades in the center, but Raja, he's going to keep everything holding still. He's not going to take or anything. White, meanwhile, probably going to have to play for c4 at some point, but definitely a risky pawn to take because there's a lot of pressure on this square.
There is, and if you play c4 as black, then also the bishop on b2 really feels like it's going to be very stuck. I guess then you have to play for e4 as white, but that once again, trading so many pawns and pushing really is going to make that h4 pawn weaker. So actually did end up exchanging, and that knight on f6 is right now being an amazing knight, defending both the pawns on d5 and h5. So I like black's position here. I think just black has a nice and comfortable position. I feel like this knight is stronger than this bishop in this specific situation.
Yeah, definitely a better position for black, but Raja's investing some time. Notice Aram's got about a minute advantage here. So queen does go into g3 like you said, and we do see the c4 idea. This is a gambit similar to a queen's gambit actually, but hold on, the h-pawn's just hanging. So what's happening?
It is. It's a gambit with two pawns that are hanging right now. He's saying, Raja, pick and choose what pawn do you want to take? And well, Raja will have to figure that out, I suppose. But I guess if it takes on c4, there is pawn takes c5. That pawn is hanging as the path for the queen is being opened up. So I guess the major problem would be that h4 pawn. But maybe he's arguing that it doesn't really matter because of the pawn on f3. The knight can never come up to g4. Yes, it's a pawn down, but having an active bishop that's not a tall pawn, like you called it, might be more worth it.
Yeah, definitely giving up the pawn for the piece activity is the main idea here. This pawn can now take, and the bishop's eyes open up. So even position, but Raja's spending a lot of time here to come up with a move. He finally takes, and Aram he immediately takes. So definitely keep an eye on those clocks. But I think we should take a look at some of the other games. Maybe we look at Bird's Eye to get a glimpse of the match overall.
Yes, let's go ahead and do that. There are no results yet. All games are happening right now. I'm seeing board number 2, Jasper Quesada-Perez versus Luka Borisavljevic. That is looking like an amazing rook on e5 and an amazing knight and bishop. And I'm just wondering what is happening here right now in that game. So maybe we can check that out. Luka was, board number 4, but he did draw Aram Hakobian in the previous game. So he's doing a really good performance so far. And now he seems to have a better position against Webster's number 2 player, which would be huge if he won now.
Yeah, look at these rooks definitely infiltrating. This king is starting to feel a little loose. How do you defend the h-pawn?
It's once again the problems of overextending the pawns. I feel like that's the theme of today's games in general. You want to overextend pawns, you want to create an attack, but all of a sudden they are the weaknesses and they are the root of your problems. And I guess now the pawn is defended with the rook, but you add a little queen into it, a little queen e8, and all of a sudden that h5 pawn, very difficult to defend.
Yeah, queen e8. I guess white has an opportunity to take the knight. That's definitely a very dominant knight, but then this bishop becomes a beast on the long diagonal, even threatening mate on h1 and a ton of lines. So if you're thinking, why doesn't white just win a pawn here? Well, you got to think twice because that bishop, I don't think you can survive that.
Yeah, I think that you are saying something really good. Because a lot of people might just go for that pawn, but then all of a sudden, whoops, you get checkmated. So we see a move that we did not consider. Bishop takes h6.
Wow, this is a sacrifice, but if pawn takes, knight takes with a fork, picking up the exchange. But I mean, you've given up 2 pieces for the rook, but some pawns. So, wow, this is definitely double-edged sacrifice. Does Luca buy it, or does he decline it?
It really feels like you should, I think, take it. But very double-edged. I mean, this is obviously looking very scary. Pawn takes, knight takes check. The rook is hanging. Are you able to bring in the queen and go for some perpetuals? No, he does not take it. Is it a mistake to take it, Joe?
Well, the computer liked queen e8 best, which was your idea initially. And essentially, Luca's saying, listen, you can take the h-pawn, fine. But I'm going to stick to my game plan. I'm going to attack h5, and you tell me what you want to do with your bishop here and the pawn here that seemingly can't be defended. So more and more problems are accumulating for white, and it's going to become more and more difficult to defend all of the problems. Yeah, I mean, can you play bishop g5?
To block it? Yeah. Well,
I guess
bishop
there's just
g5,
knight
you
takes.
just take the pawn. Queen
Or
takes
the-
then.
Yeah, so bishop h3, blocking the h file. I mean, yeah, probably just taking is best.
It feels like taking. The question is taking with what? I do like taking with the... What do I like to take with? I was thinking if rook... Okay, queen takes is what he takes with.
Yeah, queen takes, just adding that queen into the attack. This pins the bishop. We see f3, trying to kick the knight out. But oh my goodness, Anna, computer wants to sack the rook.
Rook h1. I mean, Luca is playing so well. I would not be surprised if he did that move. I feel like he's calculating it. He's spending some time here. If he goes rook h1, I'm going to give him a standing ovation. That just looks beautiful.
And Luca, he had a draw against Aram Hakovian. He's the board form for Mizzou, and he plays it.
Standing ovation. Sorry, I just got very excited. Okay. Amazing. Amazing. Wow. What a beautiful move. He found it. Board number 4 for Missouri is just beating everybody, feels like. Wow.
Wow, he finds the exchange sacrifice, but can he find the follow-up finish? He takes the bishop with check. White blocks with the knight, but now I guess the g-pawn falls?
I mean, knight takes
the bishop, he just
g3.
takes
I
the
mean,
bishop.
you pick up the bishop. There's nothing anymore. Extra material, extra king, extra everything. It feels like, yeah, the pawn on g3 is hanging, I suppose. There's no immediate checkmate, but yeah, I really just think even if you just trade things off, it just looks really good. One thing that could be good is for black to go c3 at some point to activate that bishop on a6 and make sure that that bishop doesn't become a standing pawn as well.
Yeah, we see his trade here. Knight takes with check. You can take back with the pawn, takes back with the knight with tempo, opening up that g3 square for the queen. This is just technically, yeah, up a bishop, although it's not really contributing, but the king safety says it all.
Yeah, no, it definitely says it all. The knight with the queen together, just absolutely amazing. He's just picking up pawns. I mean, he's not even rushing into anything. Now white needs to find some desperate attempts to get some activity, but now the knight and the queen are just going to coordinate so beautifully. And even if you lose the bishop at this point, you have so many pawns as black that you're going to win the game anyways.
Yeah, no, this one's going to be game over soon. So Luca on fire right now. He's bringing the queen in. He's going to pick up this knight, queen g3. No, he saves the bishop first. He says, I'm not in any rush. I'm just going to win all your stuff when I feel like it. But okay, queen actually comes back, allowing the knight in. So yeah, white's putting up some resistance, both players at 20 seconds or less. But I do think that Luca's going to convert this, and perhaps we can move on to another game.
Let's move on to another game. We can actually see Antipov. He decided to make a big comeback, and he's right now just completely crushing this game, it looks like. He does not want to lose anymore. He's showing that he is, the board 2 amazing player that cannot be jinxed. I am saying things at the wrong time, Joe.
Wow, hold on. What was missed in this one? He plays for rook to e7 check. If queen takes, there's queen takes on g6. Devastating. But we don't see black falling for this. Instead, the move here that was so good is simply taking on c6. Let's see.
Taking en passant on c6?
En passant. How could he have missed en passant?
How can you miss en passant? You know what? I understand why he missed en passant. I miss a lot of en passants too. I get it. Okay, so the bishop is coming in. Queen moves.
Every piece is trying to throw itself at the queen to try to remove the defender of g6. Look at this. Every piece is hanging, but it doesn't matter. Wow.
Wow, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. He just ends up sacrificing that rook. There's just not much that you can do. And now look at that d6 blocking the queen's defense. Before you take the rook, you play d6. This is just beautiful. And now there's a resignation. Beautiful game by Antipov.
Antipov gets the win, even though he missed en passant. He gets back on the winning track. So point for Mizzou there. That's a big one because they're in the lead right now. Actually, I think that round just finished.
Yeah, they're in the lead by 1 whole point, and with teams being this strong, every point is very difficult to get. So this is very huge for Missouri. We're gonna see in the following rounds, round 3 and 4, if they're able to keep this advantage or if Webster is able to make a comeback. So gonna be very exciting to check out the next games. And do you think that's gonna happen? Joe, what's your prediction?
Yeah, it's still very close. I think that the difference maker so far has been the bottom 2 boards from Mizzou.
Yeah.
Both of them getting wins against the board 2 from Webster, Grandmaster Yasser Quesada Perez. He's going to need to pick it up in the second half if their team's going to have a chance to mount the comeback.
I really think that Luca is right now being the star of the team. I'm so impressed by how he's playing. And we are going to be coming back to round 3 and 4, but you're about to learn a very important piece of information when we come back. So don't go anywhere. We're going to go on a break, and then I'll tell you the piece of information. Don't miss it. We'll see you very soon.
Echixar refers to what kind of chess?
Bughouse chess? I don't know. I have no idea.
Who defeated Viswanathan Anand in just 6 moves?
Bonaronian? That guy.
What opening did Itzhofu refute in Bog Champs 2?
Or the London. Either the London, the Stonewall, or the Copycat. 3 answers.
Who was the #1 rated woman in 1984?
I don't know. Pia Cramling, Anna Cramling's mom, of course!
Who is the only player to have won a World Cup while not representing an EU federation?
Okay, who is it? And how could I get that wrong? He's a famous legend.
There's a lot Danny doesn't know about chess, but there are some things you do need to know. Danny's new course for Chessable covers everything you need to know in just 2 hours. Check it out for free today. The Variants Community Series continues on January 4th with Crazy House, where you can add your opponent's captured pieces to your own arsenal. 6 weekly arena tournaments held every Thursday will be followed by a championship event with cash prizes, including a $1,000 first place prize. The 3rd and final weekly arenas will be streamer arenas featuring gifted subs as prizes. Win any of these events to qualify for the championship and show the world what you've got. Join the Variants Club today to learn more about upcoming events, how to participate, and much, much more. See you in the arena on Chess.com.
Our once magnificent kingdom of chess lays now in ruins, our king slain. But some say that a new ruler will come and restore the realm to its former glory. Solve puzzles, fight epic battles, and earn gold, swords, and scrolls full of chess wisdom on your way to reclaiming the throne. Download the app today. And this month only, face off against your favorite kingdom character bots. Only on Chess.com.
Welcome back to the 2024 Collegiate Chess League spring season presented by SIG. Now, Joe, did you notice anything during that break video? Something special, something that caught your eyes and ears and that was a little bit like, oh, I didn't know this before.
I saw, and I hope everyone in chat saw it as well, that your mom was rated the #1 for all the women players in 1984, back in her day. So she's still a talented player. She was #1, and you might actually become #1 too. I know you were nominated for the Streamer Award, so maybe you and your mom can both be #1 coming up, I think, next week, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the funny thing is that my mom was actually 21 years old when she was #1 in the world, and that is my age right now. So, you know, at my age, she was the strongest woman in the world pretty much. So yeah, I thought it was just really fun that they mentioned it here, and I wanted to give a big shout out to my mom as well. But we have lots of more chess coming up today, but not just more Collegiate Chess League today. We have lots of chess coming up in general. And here we have some of our upcoming broadcast schedule. We have the Collegiate Chess League Week 4, which is happening February 17th. And Joe, I am so sorry, but I will not be here with you then. I will be at the Streamer Awards then.
There's no replacing you, Anna. I don't know what I'll do without you.
I am so sorry. You'll have to do standing ovations yourself. But people, tune in so that you see who the special guest is that's going to replace me for that week. I will be back for week number 5, of course, February 24th. Then you'll see me here again with Joe. We also have Slug Champs, Guardians Chess Club, which is happening February 20th, which is pretty soon as well at 10 p.m. CET or 4 p.m. ET. So lots of chess is coming up. Very exciting. But now we have the match of the century, I feel like. Well, the collegiate match of the league. I don't know. Very important match. Webster versus Missouri. Missouri is leading by 1 point. 2 rounds to go. First team to get 8.5 points wins. And this is one of the most important matches that we're seeing because these are 2 top favorite teams of the whole league. Missouri right now leading, playing fantastic. Webster's lower boards really need to start getting some points if they want to come back.
Yeah, I couldn't have put it better myself. This is the college chess match of the league. So Missouri versus Webster, 2 Missouri. Honestly, Anna, this match feels like it's a playoff match. Like it feels like they have playoffs on the line, which is crazy. They're both undefeated. Lots of pride on the line for these 2 teams. They both have stuff to prove. It's as close as it gets. I mean, it's 1 point. It's only 1 point difference, but Missouri now, they have draws essentially. If they just draw the rest of the games or they split it even 4-4 in the second half, they win. So Webster now on their heels, they need to push for some extra points just to tie it up.
They do really need to push here if they're going to make a comeback. And it's going to be so exciting to see what happens. The games have started and we have no time to miss. We're seeing right now board 1 playing board 2. The board 3 is playing the board 4s. And now the ratings are going to be a little bit closer. We're going to see now because the board 4s have been playing so, or the lower boards of Missouri have been playing so well. It's going to be interesting to see them play the lower boards of Webster. I'm very excited about that. But here we have quite an opening. What is happening here? Where did this come from? This must have been a Sicilian.
Yeah, this was E4 and C5, the Sicilian. And it looks like it's not an open Sicilian, so it's a Rossalimo.
It's Rossalimo, yeah, with bishop b5. I always hated playing against this line. I remember when well, I still do because I still play the Sicilian. I should not be saying this. I have a chess tournament coming up. Why am I saying the lines that I hate the most? Okay. Anyways, b4. This is kind of like a wing gambit kind of move where you're sacrificing a pawn, but black gets rid of one of the most important central pawns and allows white to play d4, which is a really important move for white. And that b pawn typically ends up being pretty weak.
Yeah, I definitely don't know much theory on this, but it looks like white is ahead in development, already castled. This king has a couple of moves. A pawn and the bishop need to get out of the way first. And white continuing to distract black with this b4 gambit. Knight comes in, forking the queen and the pawn. And as you said, d4 is coming. The rook is opposite the king that hasn't castled yet. A lot of play here for white. The bishop's going to get on the diagonal. So down material, perhaps for the moment, but lots of activity here.
Lots of activity. And now already the eval bar is saying that this is, favorable for white. Knight takes b4. Antipov just looks super happy. I feel like it feels like he's got this position in control. I feel like Antipov, I might be wrong, but my feeling has been that he kind of likes to play a little bit more tactically, a little bit more open positions like this, and this really feels like a position that suits his playing style. So I'm wondering now, c3 looks nice, d4 is the threat, a fork. It's like the queen is kind of dancing around and it doesn't really know where to go. What is the queen's home here?
Yeah, queen was on c7, was hit by the knight. Then it went to c6, hit by the knight again. Now it's on c5, and it's got to move again, Anna. This queen's dancing all over the board, but not in a good way. It's kind of on its heels, and there's issues here with black's position. Where does the queen go?
I don't know where the queen goes, but yes, the queen is dancing around. And if you go queen a7, I mean, that's just such a sad place to have the queen on. But the thing is that you don't really want to move the knight either, because then that rook on e1 just becomes super strong. So the queen definitely needs to find a home. It's been dancing around, but not a good dance. And we will see what happens there. But it would be huge if Antipov beat, Webster's #1 player, Aram Hakobian. That would be a huge result for Antipov. And it looks like that might not be impossible,
Yeah, I think a lot of these players, they say that they don't really prep too much for the blitz, but this looks to me like Antipov is definitely deep in his prep. He looks very comfortable. He ends up moving the knight, so the queen's staying on c5. White can still play for d4, but you can even tell just not only by like the pace of the moves, but look at the clock, look at the position. Antipov is very comfortable, loves the white pieces here. This is something that Aram Hakobian probably is going to have to look back later on. And even bishop to d3 comes now with tempo.
Can you take on d6? Queen takes d6. Is that a move, or is that something you don't really want to do?
Wow, maybe knight takes first, then queen takes, threatening the pawn with a fork. But
lots of threats there.
Wow, that is a nice tactic that you spotted. And I this is just a really rough game here from Aram Hakobian. He's over 3,000 rated, but Antipov's making him look like a beginner right now.
Well, if Hakobian is a beginner, I don't even know what we are in chess. Everybody else, we are on the most noob level ever then. But yeah, Antipov is playing a fantastic game, and I'm very impressed. We were really hyping him up before, and it was with all the right, I feel like. There we go. Queen takes d6. Amazing. Is picking up the pawn. The queen retreats. Will the queen finally find its home? Maybe, but Antipov got a pawn for that, which is great.
Yeah, Antipov up a pawn. He retreats the queen, saying, "No, I'm not going to help you develop. You're going to have to figure out some issues first." And you can't ask for more out of this kind of position. The computer is just screaming for white's position. Bishop to f4 right now.
Yeah, bishop to f4. And you can see that Hakobian does not look pleased with the position at all, I feel like, with his body language, which makes sense. Bishop f4 just played immediately. Look at the speed as well. Antipov, 3 minutes, just cruising this game. Looks amazing. We can check out another game too to see what's happening on the other boards, because this is a very close match. Missouri is in the lead by only 1 point. So any point that Webster is able to take here could change everything. Absolutely everything.
Definitely. How about we take a look at game 2? This is Oparin versus Yasser Quesada Perez, who we pointed out he's been struggling. He's 0 for 2 against the bottom 2 boards from Mizzou, and now he's up against board number 1. So can he reset after that break? Can he get back into the swing of things? Looks like he's actually doing well.
It does look like it. I would say that, yeah, I was gonna say that I really liked White's activity, but I realized that you can never go queen c7 or something like that, because the rook just comes in. The rook there on the 4th file is just so strong. Rook g4 check, rook takes h4. Just that rook is really strong. And do you want to play f4? I don't really know if you want to play f4. I mean, it feels like it's really weakening the king and the diagonal, dark square diagonal in front of it. So I feel like White has a lot of problems. Yeah, very uncomfortable position. And the immediate threat is rook g4, like you're pointing out.
Yeah, rook g4 is the main threat. Probably don't play f4 because it blocks on the queen. Maybe you move f3 is needed here, actually, to prevent that.
Maybe f3 is needed. And if black pushes f4, then you have queen h3, which I do think would be maybe favorable for White to be able to enter that diagonal like this. But we see now rook e8 with the simple idea of just simply going rook e2 and get that rook and that queen and sort of battery in front of the king, and just ask Oparin, how are you going to defend all of this? Maybe you can go rook f2 now. Maybe that's an idea.
Yeah, rook f2, definitely an idea. We're going to get checked. And another strong idea, actually, is rook to e3, pinning the pawn and threatening again.
Oh, yeah.
Rook e4.
Very nice move. Very nice move. I didn't really think about that. But yeah, rook e3, very nice move.
Yeah, and if also rook f2, we got to keep in mind there's rook e1, there's rook e2. But okay, rook e1 played here from Oparin. And Oparin, even though the position definitely has a lot to desire, he's looking to get some counterplay, because if he trades the rooks, his queen can then come in. If this pawn or the queen ever leaves the diagonal, this king isn't so safe either.
No, for sure. It's not safe. So the queen almost has to stay in that diagonal. So there's definitely counter chances, but I mean, if Jasser was able to defeat the number 1 board of Missouri, that would be huge. And we can see that both board 1s are kind of struggling. RM Hakobian and Grigoriy Oparin are kind of struggling here. So we will see what happens here. We can maybe take a look at game number 4, because I see that it looks as if Gergely Cantor has a huge advantage for Webster, which would, be very big for Webster if he won, obviously. So we can take a look here at the position. He's playing his Harshit Raja, and what is happening here? The knight is hanging, pawn takes pawn. Why is this so good for White?
It's a great question. Well, first off, I see the rooks are just better placed for White ahead in development here. These rooks still haven't really gotten into the game yet. The bishops are in tension right now. If bishop takes, I guess we take back with a knight. And we have this passed d pawn in the center. I think that's the main difference maker, is that White's just up a pawn.
White's up a pawn. It's that d pawn. And also, I think the light squares are just that knight on e5 is so strong. And right now, the bishop on b7 is defending from the knight coming into d7, c6. From the other knight coming into d5. But now that those bishops could get traded, then the light squares are just going to be up for takes for White as well, I think. So yeah, I'm wondering here what happens if you just start bringing in the knights. There's so many weak light squares here.
Yeah, the computer wants to trade that bishop off, like you said, and that's going to open up a lot of potential here for White's pieces. I do like this extra pawn, of course, but I mean, look at the clock, actually. 12 seconds to 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think the clock, together with the position, is just going to be... but he wants to trade queens. Trading queens does sometimes make things a little bit easier when you're up on time. Low on time, I mean. But the queen retreats, and now I guess the reason the computer didn't like this as much is because you don't really have that square anymore for the knight. But maybe you can go knight d5 here.
Yeah, knight d5 with the tempo on the queen, and I think it's kind of necessary because otherwise it's black that's threatening to take this pawn, and that's going to come with the tempo. Even with the other knight, you're going to open up the queen attacking this knight. So actually, yeah, probably a misstep or two from Grigoriy here.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, he has a minute to figure this out. It will be very impressive if Raja is able to survive this, but he's determined. He's going fast. He's playing.
Ooh, okay. Wait. F7. Hello.
F7.
Oh my goodness.
F7 is hanging. Oh, he missed it.
Oh, and he's sacking the queen for the fork. That's beautiful.
Wow, so beautiful. And we have right now a win for Webster, which is, yeah, very, very big, but also board number 1 finished and Antipov won. So it is still Missouri that has a 1-point lead here.
Yeah, and right here, the moment apparently you needed to play queen to d7. Otherwise, queen here was played, and this allows for black to play knight to d6, which defends f7 and hits the queen. So if you went to d7, that defense wouldn't have been there. Instead, black misses the threat, and we see the nice queen sack to finish things off. Knight's coming in with the fork, picking the queen up.
And that was just a time problem, I think. He was just so low on time, and then he just missed this. And it's so easy to miss these tactics when you're low on time. That's why it's so important to have more time, because your elo literally drops when you're low on time. You play, in a much lower elo category than what you would do otherwise. So we're seeing also that on board number 2, Jasser won. So it is right now equal, 5.5 to 5.5. This is going to be crazy. We might be getting tie breaks in this round, or in this match, I mean.
Yeah, Webster just erased that 1-point deficit. It wasn't that much, but they're back in it, and now it's down to this last game here in round 3. White definitely has the advantage. Double the rooks on the B file, bringing in every piece, attacking this king here, and better pawn structure too, right? Look at the pawns on light squares for black. Light square bishop. That bishop suffering from tall pawn syndrome, as we've seen, and now white breaking through with c4, and there's going to be some sacrifices.
There is, but just the pieces are just so strong. That knight on d6 is just beautiful. Goodness. Oh, this is just falling apart. I don't know. Oh, wow. He's just taking this one.
He's not ready. He's just taking everything.
He's just taking everything. Wow. There's so many different things he can do. Okay, but he's putting some pressure now on the knight. What do you have to do? Oh, he sacrifices the
Ooh.
Wow. Beautiful. Wow.
Black's just paralyzed. I mean, we saw the rook shuffling back and forth. That's definitely a pitiful position to be in.
This is so beautiful. The knight and the rook, they just cannot come into the position in any way. It's incredible, actually.
Yeah, Luca's been playing well so far, but he's definitely meeting his match here with Harsha taking it to him. And Harsha actually the only player from Webster undefeated. So he's definitely been the MVP so far in this match. Yeah,
very, very, amazing game. We saw Luca was also being an MVP, but now it might be, those times might be a little bit over, at least for this round. We will see. But if Webster wins this game, they're going to take the lead in this match, which is huge in one round to do. And they're going to go into round number 4 with a point more, which is really big. So we will see if they're able to close down this game. Very low on time, 5 seconds.
Yeah, this is actually crazy that Mizzou was leading, and now Webster's going to be leading if they can convert this. And I do think there's really good chances of that happening. Actually, knight takes pawn, and then king takes knight. This is unstoppable.
It is. There's just too many pawns. Another thing is hanging.
Wow.
That's a fork. Maybe resignation.
Oh man, I thought he flagged. No, Luca's playing on to the bitter end. I mean, Harsha's less than 10 seconds. It's actually really lagging right now.
Yeah, no, but he needs to continue. I think. There we go.
Oh, there's going to be a force mate.
Yeah.
It's definitely lagging. But I think knight to b6, yeah, rook mate. There you go.
Oh, he played it till the mate. Wow. We see the mate on the board.
Yeah, well, awesome game there from Harsha. That was incredible, taking down Luca, board 4 for Mizzou. And we see that's actually his first loss in the match, and Harsha continues undefeated. He's 3 for 3, and Webster takes the lead, 6.5 to 5.5. They only need 2 points in that last round. Coming up next.
What a nail-biting match, Joe. That was absolutely amazing. We have round number 4 that's going to be happening very soon. But here we can see the player performances, and we can see, like you said, Harsha MVP, 3 out of 3. It's actually been the top boards that have been a little bit slacking maybe for Webster, I would say.
Yeah, but they're getting carried by Harsha right now, and he has almost half their team's point. He has 3 of their 6.5 points. Can the top boards tune it up here? I mean, Missouri, they're in a must-win situation in this last round, or they could potentially tie it up and force overtime if they get 2.5 to 1.5. But what do you guys think? Who's going to win it? Is Webster going to hold on, or is Mizzou going to get their point back that they lost in that third round?
Let us know. Anything can happen. I mean, we saw also that now Webster was the one that got a point advantage here. We can definitely see Missouri winning in round number 4. Anything can happen, but we're going to see them playing the respective boards. So the board ones are going to play the other board ones, etc. So this is now going to be really, really exciting, I think, because both Aram Hakobian and Oparin, they haven't had the best match so far. It's going to be interesting to see them play each other. Antipov, we're going to see playing Jasser. Antipov has also been playing really well, even though he lost that first game. And then we have Raja. Is he gonna... Yeah, it's... No, exactly, no. We have Raja that's placing Harsha there at Takoti. And is Harsha going to be able to win one more time, 4 out of 4? That would be just absolutely crazy. We will see. But round 4 is about to start in any second.
Yeah, this is it. This is round 4, the final round of the match. Unless there's overtime, we see board 1's Aram versus Oparin happening right now. We have a Caro Khan advance with c5.
Are you a Caro Khan player, Joe?
I don't play it with black, and with white, guess what I play against it? It's a fun
I have
one.
no idea.
It's the fantasy variation, which is f3.
Isn't that supposed to be terrible, or is it playable?
I learned it from Danya, so I assume it's playable.
Okay, I love the name though. I feel like the fantasy variation just makes you feel like you're playing a more fun game. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fun name too. The fantasy, I mean, maybe not as fun as the cow, but it is still a fun line. So yeah, they say never play f3, but f3 against the Caro is pretty fun.
Okay, so you can sometimes bend the rules, but we're seeing here, the game has started and it's become a Caro Khan. And I actually don't really know a lot about the Caro Khan. I am wondering, what happens now if you go knight g5? Do you just go knight h6 as black and just defend in that way? I suppose that's how you do to defend f7.
Yeah, that might be the only move. But okay, interestingly, Aram gives up this b2 pawn, and Oparin just snaps it off. He says, okay, your knight's hanging, but the computer actually loves this for white. It wants to even just bring, okay, both rooks to the C and B file and ask Oparin what the heck he's doing over there.
It's a very thematic thing to sacrifice one of your queenside pawns to open up the rook files, because especially in the opening, the rooks are typically not pieces that get to be very active. But if you're able to bring those rooks into activity, that can be like extra pieces that you're able to use.
Yeah, instead, Aram plays bishop to d4, allowing the queen to sneak away. So rook b1 no longer coming with tempo. But this is a threat to take back this pawn. Queen comes back defending. So Oparin maybe being a little bit of a pawn grabber right now, neglecting some development for that pawn advantage. How do you feel about this?
Well, you can bring out your pieces later on, right? I mean, I feel like you can always take your pieces out, but how often can you get free pawns? I don't know. No, but I think maybe you had to be a little bit more precise as white before and really take that rook activity into being the advantage that you get. Now it feels like the queen is actually pretty well placed on a6, looking at d3. So it feels like actually black has been able to get their piece up pretty nicely. And after the bishop moves to e7 maybe, which looks like a very natural spot, then, I mean, you castle and then what? You're a pawn up. How are you as white going to argue that there's a reason for being a pawn down?
That's a great question. So Oparin may be getting away with it here. Aram, yeah, not having been playing the best, but neither actually has Oparin. So this is kind of a balanced matchup here between these two players, right? Which is crazy. They're both at 3,000 or just at 3. I mean, Oparin, he's been over 3,000, maybe on a bit of a slump at 2978. So I don't know who's going to win this one. It's still pretty close, but yeah.
It is very close. So we will see what happens here. We can check out some other games too. We can see how Antipov is doing. I'm seeing a very early h4 by Jasser, and this just feels like the theme of today's, matches. h4, like if I could call today's day something, I would call it h4, because that just feels like what we've seen in every single game somehow. But h4 is happening now, and it is pretty thematic, I guess, to go h4. Sometimes you go h5, maybe even h6. So we will see if we see all of those pawn pushes, or if just rook c1 and then trying to reroute the pieces.
Yeah, the h4, actually, it's interesting. It was a free pawn. Black could have taken it, but decided not to. So I feel like a lot of these grandmasters, they're just tricky players. It's kind of like gambling in poker. Is your opponent bluffing? Is that a free pawn? And like in the previous game, we saw Oparin take a free pawn for some counterplay. In this game, Oparin's teammate Antipov, he doesn't take it. So sometimes you see a free pawn, you take a free pawn. Other times you take a free pawn and turns out it might not actually have been free, and now you're about to lose the game. So it's always risky. You never know when material is actually hanging or not.
There's a lot of bluffing, and I feel like especially when you're playing someone that you think is better than you, that's when it really is difficult to know when the opponent is bluffing or when they're just playing good moves, because you might think, oh, this person knows what they're doing. But you should never underestimate yourself, and you should never overestimate your opponent either. There's a fine balance there, I think, and I am a victim of doing that, I think, a lot. I'm a lot overestimate my opponents typically, I think.
Yeah, and we see the pawn make its way to h5, and now h6 from Antipov, saying that pawn has gone far enough. So putting the halts to that, but potentially creating a hook that white can take advantage of later. But we see black putting a lot of pressure on the h-pawn, saying, you know what, maybe I'll take it now because it comes with tempo against the queen. And black trying to remove the defender, this knight. So we see rook h1 coming over to help support this h-pawn.
Yeah, exactly. And I am wondering, I mean, now I was thinking if somehow they could at some point be some kind of knight g6 and trying to open up that h file if you're able to trade those bishops as well. Like knight g6, bishop takes g5, and then if pawn takes g5, you have pawn takes g6, and then it's with check, and then the queen comes in, and there's lots of potential for that rook to do things.
That's actually a really beautiful line that you just pointed out. Knight check, bishop takes, and not taking the bishop back, but taking on g5. If pawn takes, that leads to a forced mate with a rook sacrifice at the end there, with the queen getting into h5. You saw all that, Anna?
I did, and I'm really proud because I do not have an engine in front of me right now. I am looking at a little tiny screen with the board. So if that is correct, Joe, with the engine, I'm going to be very proud. I'm going to tell my parents.
Well, yeah, I guess black wouldn't have taken back on g5. Yeah. But yeah, we don't see that line played out. Instead, we see the bishop taking on f4. And what's really interesting to me, Anna, is that white takes back with the pawn. And now this bishop kind of blocked in by its own pawns, but this helps white maybe utilize the g file as well. But we see both rooks here on the h file. Antipov, meanwhile, playing on the queen side. And now we see the g file being utilized now that this pawn's defended by the second rook.
I think Antipov is just basically saying that he thinks that the king side is closed now. Because even though the g file is open, I feel like it's kind of hard to really create any attack over there. It's hard to attack with only major pieces such as the rooks and the queens, and I think it's pretty easy for black to defend. Worst case with rook g8, queen f8, that g7 pawn is going to be super defended, and because you cannot bring any other minor piece like a bishop or a knight, it's going to be really hard to really create something. So I think he's saying that the king side is now fixed. He has time to play on the queen side and get an advantage on the other side of the board where there's still things happening.
Yeah, this is actually kind of a interesting dynamic here. White definitely was trying to press a lot, going for that attack. And we see these rooks now kind of staring at their own pawn and doubled F pawns, this bishop locked in, essentially. So I actually like black here now that he's defended the worst of White's attack. White's going to have to come up with a new game plan. And like you said, bring in some of these other pieces. We see a trade continue to play on the queen side. I think as long as the action's happening over here, it's going to continue to favor Antipov. And that's huge because Mizzou is the one that's needing the points right now.
They really need the points. We can see how they're doing in the other boards to see if they're going to be able to get those points, because I am seeing that on board number 3, it looks like Harsha is once again dominating. He's just going for it 4 out of 4. He's trying to. So it looks like at least he has slightly a better position, but also more importantly, just a fantastic time situation. So White is threatening checkmate in 1. But it's quite easy to defend. Knight f5, defending the mate, threatening the bishop. Bishop needs to move. And that knight is just going to stay there.
That is a monster knight. It's doing it all. Like you said, defending, attacking. Bishop to h6. Definitely probably not the best move. It's fancy. It's putting the bishop in threat, but obviously can't be taken. And it's always good to try to threaten checkmate and potentially induce some weaknesses. But no, knight f5 comes back. Harsha, he's playing calmly, he's playing professionally, and he's still undefeated. And this is a huge time advantage for him as well. So it's not looking good for Mizzou on this board.
It is not looking good for Mizzou, and Harsha's just been playing so well. I mean, I did a standing ovation before. If he wins this game, I kind of want to do another one. I mean, that has just been impeccable by him. So we will see a little bit what happens here. Queen b6, trying to create some weaknesses on the queen side. Once again, kind of saying the king side is fixed. Let me play on the queen side. And now threatening on b2. And yeah, if you play b3, the c3 knight is going to get very weak after rook c8. And if you play queen b1, well, what happens if something like bishop b4? Maybe you can utilize the bishop that you haven't used yet and try to create a weak pawn over there. So instead, we see now that Raja sacrifices the pawn with the idea of going knight f6 check and continuing the attack that he has.
Yeah, Harsha, definitely, he's not taking the pawn right away. He's bringing in the rook, potentially doubling. But yeah, knight f6, very interesting. Raja, you can tell he's kind of feeling like he's backed into a corner. He's got 3.7 seconds, Anna. He's got 0 time to calculate anything. He's just playing for all the tricks. Knight to the center is a decent move, but Harsha's not falling for anything right now.
There's so little time, 3 seconds. We saw Raja with a big time scramble before 2, missing queen takes f7. Will he be able to play this with 3 seconds on the clock? This is almost mission impossible. Or will he blunder? We see now also that on board number 1 between Aram Hakobian and Grigoriy Oparin, it's become a draw. So we have one draw. Missouri really needs that point. Somehow they really need that point.
Wow. Let's take a look actually at Bird's Eye to take a look at all of the matches right now. It looks like board 2 has a very interesting imbalance. So that draw, I think that's going to favor Webster because Oparin, that's Mizzou's strongest weapon. Aram Hakobian neutralizes that threat, and the draws all favor Webster because all they need is to split the round. Mizzou, they need wins on the board, and it looks like Antipov is working on it right now.
Yeah, and if Antipov is able to win, and Luca is able to win on board number 4, even if Harsha would win this game, it would end up being a tiebreaker or a tie. So there's a lot of potential here.
Yeah, let's take a look into Antipov's game and see how that's going. They're both under a minute. We have opposite color bishops. Pawn structure is almost the same, except there's this passed B pawn for Antipov, and that might be the difference maker. This pawn on D6 looks like it's gonna drop off.
It looks like it's just going to fall. Antipov has very active rooks. His bishop on E3 is a tall pawn. And yeah, instantly just taking that pawn. And yeah, I really think that he has a nice position here, but I don't know if he knows that he's in a must-win situation, kind of. I mean, if he doesn't win this game, I see it very difficult for Missouri to make a comeback.
Their awareness, definitely, I'm sure he knows. And I like queen c1 taking the c file, but also defending the f pawn. He wanted to play bishop to b4 with tempo. So we see the queen leave, and the bishop comes here anyways. So White's still playing for some tricks. I think Antipov is good enough to not fall for it. But they're definitely a time scramble. I think we got to look at board number 3. Oh my goodness, it ended already. So wait. Yeah, Raja lost. Harsha swept 4-0 against the Mizzou team.
Wow.
So Mizzou in must win for the last 2 games. Let's look at board 4 with Luca. We haven't looked at this one yet.
Let's look at Luca. And wow, I think this has just been so, we don't know what's going to happen, but this has just been so exciting. What is going on here?
It looks like White's defending the pawn. There's a passed D pawn that's going to make its way up the board.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is a pawn more right now for White, but I agree that I think the pawn is the big thing. Oh, no.
He blundered his rook! Luca's got no time!
It's over!
Webster
It's
wins!
Over! Wow! Webster wins that super important game.
That was a must win, and he was winning, but he pushes the pawn. He lets the knight in, and the knight gets the job done. Grigoriy Cantor from behind, and we have one last game, but it's not going to matter because Webster already gets the win. Oh, and then Antipov losing anyways with a check. No, wait, Antipov just swindled him.
What just happened?
It's too late.
Look there?
Okay, so in this game, it looks like Antipov threw away his advantage. Let's see. Rook in. So black is winning, but after this move, wait, oh my god, look at this eval bar. I can't even... Okay, so right here, there's only one good move for black, and it's bishop to g6, because it blocks the rooks on the g file.
Yeah.
Instead, okay, we have a check. King to g1 is the only move that wins for white. Instead, we see king to f1, allowing for queen e1 checkmate, or, well, this rook's pin.
Rook
okay,
E1.
but the problem is black didn't do that. They played queen h1.
No, he didn't checkmate?
No, but he finds queen e1 here, which is a different mate. So, yeah, absolutely wild finish, but yeah, this game didn't matter because unfortunately for Antipov, his teammate Luca blundered in the time scramble. So Webster remains undefeated 3-0 thanks to Harsha on board 3, sweeping this GM squad from Mizzou. Can you imagine sweeping all 4 GMs from Mizzou?
I cannot. I mean, Harsha should get himself a very nice dinner today. He should be very proud of himself. That was amazing. And what I find just so fascinating is that Missouri was leading. We heard Aram Hakobian the other week saying in the interview that you really should look out for Webster. They're one of the favorites. And I honestly thought today that Missouri was going to win, especially after we saw the beginning of this match. Missouri was looking so strong with the lower boards, with everything. But then Webster was able to make this beautiful comeback and just, wow, incredible, really. So this has been a joy to watch. I thought that we were going to go to tiebreakers, but no, Webster wins. And wow.
Yeah, it was close. It came down to that board 4 Luca's game. He was unable to convert that extra pawn, instead blundering a rook in an absolute time scramble. So Webster ends up on top. Webster and SLU now the only 2 teams in the CCL Division 1 that are undefeated 3-0. Mizzou gets their first loss of the season. Antipov gets his first loss of the season. And we see, I think, really Webster holding Oparin to 1 point out of 4. He only had 2 draws. that's not gonna be enough. So congrats to Webster, and especially congrats to Harsha. And I think we're gonna try to bring him on for an interview.
We are going to try to do that. So we're going to go on a break. We will have an interview when we come back. Do not go anywhere. You do not want to miss this interview. We will see you very, very soon.
I chose to play the Sicilian as my main weapon with black about 35 years ago. E4, C5. C5 is an excellent move that controls the D4 square, and when white plays D4, we're ready to capture it. This is, of course, on the Sicilian, and I think it's a really good opening for beginner and intermediate players. A lot of lower-level club players only know E4, E5. You'll have excellent chances out of the opening, and I chose the variations carefully based on my own experience of playing the Sicilian. Knight B5, we play Queen B4. Now our queen can escape to A5, which defends C7. It looks good to fork the pieces, but after King G8, all of white's pieces are attacked. So knight takes, queen takes C3 check, attacking the king. We're gonna take the bishop next move. Black has an extra pawn, and this knight is trapped.
Hello, can I get 50 ELO back please, because one of my friends played on my account and lost 50, thank you.
I've got friends like that too. When I'm frustrated or in a bad mood, or something
Or
strikes.
maybe
my
a
friends,
little bit, you know what? Maybe, you know, I don't know.
It's been a good night. Yeah. No, I have friends just like that, man. They come on my account. I wake up in the morning. Yeah.
Well, the good news is better to have friends who lose you rating points than gain you rating points, because then your account might be closed for cheating. Pro tip.
I am deeply sorry for the language I used. I will never ever use vulgar language again. I'm sorry, please unban me please. You are my star and my sunshine. I go to bed dreaming of you, and when I wake up I think of you again, so I ask kindly please Chess.com come with me to POM. Hugs and kisses.
We love you too. Unmute that man.
We love you too. I love all members. I feel like we were being taunted just a little bit there, but at the same time, I'm not one to judge anyone's speech impediment, you know, and so welcome, you whiskily wabbit. I don't know what else to say.
And it's a gaming site. You know, when people write in and they've got the right sense of humor, it means a lot to us, because, you know, that's sure. The kind of the
Good
vibes
stuff.
we want.
I'd classify trading as a game, really, that you're playing with competitors and basically every market participant in the world. My path, I came in as a poker player, but I think that the main thing that everybody has in common is a sense of competitiveness and interest in gaming and strategy in general. Yes, you can actually use gaming skills for your career and for something to do on a day-to-day basis.
We are back and we are joined by one of the superstars of today, Grandmaster Harsha from Webster. Congratulations, you played an absolutely fantastic match. You beat 4 Grandmasters. What did you do to prepare? How did you just wake up and beat 4 Grandmasters this way?
No, actually, I just had a good rest yesterday night, and before the game, I just checked my lines. But of course, I didn't even get one of them. So probably I just had a good rest. So yeah, that's the thing.
Okay, I was gonna ask you, what did you have for food? Because I'm gonna eat that before every chess tournament that I ever play in the future. But that is amazing.
I had some Indian food. So.
That's the key. That's the secret. So good rest, good food, and you sweep 4 GMs from the Mizzou team. So sounds like a recipe for success. Harsha, well, congrats on your performance. But apparently I heard there's also some performances at Webster off the chessboard. Your captain, David, actually asked if you could rank your teammates on the team in tennis. Who's the best and who's the worst?
I think Yasser is at first, and probably myself. No, I think Benjamin is at second, myself third, and of course our captain David probably is last. Maybe.
Oh my goodness!
But yeah, it's actually quite fun. We usually play quite a lot of tennis. It's for like at least twice or thrice a week. It's fun.
That is maybe also another recipe to playing this good, to have a little bit of physical exercise. Now, speaking of your team, we interviewed your captain, Aram Hakobian, a few weeks ago, and he said that Webster was the place to be and that you were favorites to win the whole league. Do you agree with that? Do you think that you're going to win the whole season?
Yeah, I believe that, and I'm confident about it, and all of my teammates are confident about it as well. We are practicing, and I believe in my teammates, of course, and I hope we win this thing.
You hope, or I feel like your win over Mizzou today is definitely a big statement win, and you guys didn't play at Pan Am's, but you did qualify for the Final Four. So do you think that your win in this match maybe bodes well for your match in the Final Four? Are you preparing for that as well?
Okay, I mean, this is an online event, so probably it won't have very big effort, but still it's an important event as well, like for all American college. So maybe slight effect because of her result, but I would say like this and Final Four are completely different. That's over the board, so we are preparing for that as well.
Chat had one final question that they wanted to ask you as well, and that is if you feel more pressure playing on a team or playing just by yourself in over-the-board games. So the difference in playing in a team or individually.
Probably, I think it goes both ways because generally I like playing team tournaments. I feel that's where there is so much fun playing in team tournaments. But that's true that sometimes, let's say, like other boards, something wrong happens, you have to play well or something like that. But I would say maybe there's a bit pressure playing in team tournament. I mean, of course, if you play individual game, that's completely on you. But okay, I don't take it as a pressure though. I like playing team tournaments.
That's very nice to hear. And you can celebrate your wins together, which I am sure they're going to celebrate your win today against Missouri. What a fantastic match. Big congratulations once again. We look forward to following the rest of your journey in this league. And get a nice dinner and celebrate because you played fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna be continuing because even though today's matches are over, we have week 4, and we're gonna be having some amazing matches then. We have St. Louis versus Texas, Dallas, Athens versus Texas, Rio Grande, Webster versus Prague, and Chicago versus Missouri. We're finally seeing Chicago here. So, Joe, you can look forward to all of these matches. I will not be here for week 4, but I will be coming back for week 5, and I cannot wait to see how this continues.
Yeah, you're definitely going to be missed, but you're actually visiting my city in LA, so maybe we won't see you on stream, but maybe I'll still see you in person. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely. I am. I'm taking a big trip from Sweden to Los Angeles. I am, very excited about that. But thank you so much, everybody, for watching and for, supporting and being here. It's been so much fun. We will be back week 4. Do not miss it. It's going to be in just 1 week, the 17th of February at the same time. And we will see you then very soon. Have a great rest of your day.
Take care.